Little bit of breaking news to bring you in regards to Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. I thought this was important enough to get on here and discuss with you, as there are off-season moves to make in Dynasty. There are best ball moves to make in best ball. There are trades to make left and right regards to these two individuals. And Olave's affected. A lot of people like Mike Thomas. We're going to go over a whole lot of this and more, and we might even do a late night draft after we hit the news and take some phone calls. The Fantasy Football Show emergency live stream begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is up, good people? We're here on an emergency live stream to discuss Alvin Kamara and Mike Thomas updates from the Rich Eisen show, from the head coach's mouth. And so there's a lot to discuss. Then we're going to take some phone calls, and then we might just do a quick little underdog draft. So file on in. Appreciate you all being here. Hit that like button on your way in the door, and let's get to it. So first piece of news, honestly, we don't know, said Coach Dennis Allen when asked about the updates or progress in the Alvin Kamara situation in regards to the NFL taking action. And so Dennis Allen went on to say, so he said, honestly, we don't know. We haven't been given any indication from the league of where this might go. Certainly, we've got to prepare for the possibility that we might not have him. But yet, until that shows itself, until something comes up, clearly they don't have any plans of putting him on the pine or, disciplining him in-house. Look, we're going full speed ahead and are looking forward to getting him in here and getting him going, and we will adjust to whatever we have to deal with, says Saints coach Dennis Allen. So the fact that the NFL is so not heavy-handed 1 minute and then heavy-handed the next, and the fact that the NFL has done nothing so far, thus far with Alvin Kamara's situation, they've done nothing. They've been sitting back and waiting. There's a whole lot of speculation that this situation could just, in a sense, just go away, like with it being pushed forward again. I don't know that things are going to get pushed forward. As far as we know with this situation, there's no real delay that's being concocted by the Kamara camp. I think they do want to go forward and go as quickly through this process as possible. We haven't been given a lot of updates, and the public hasn't heard a whole lot. There hasn't been much on it at all. No reports. We had Tony, the attorney, come on and discuss the plea potential situation, that if Kamara was to plea out on the conspiracy charge, there are two charges, right? There's a conspiracy to commit the battery, and then there's the actual battery. And that if Alvin Kamara was to plea guilty to the conspiracy charge alone, that would essentially be saying, I plea that I conspired to maybe attack this man, but he's not pleading that he did actually attack him. So the charge is far lesser. It's like talking about doing something versus doing something. And the reason the DA would take such an L, you could say, is because it partially could be in the best interest of both parties, and in the fact that the victim, the alleged victim, maybe wants to bring this to a close. It's up to the DA, not the victim. This isn't a case where you settle. This is criminal, not civil. Civil, you can settle. Criminal, you can plea. Plea is an admission of guilt in most all cases, except for a couple different situations, which this could be, where Kamara is essentially saying, I do not plead guilty, and I do not, it's like a no contest type of plea. In a sense, it's called something different. But Alvin Kamara will most certainly, if he pleads to the conspiracy charge, walk away with a 2 to 4 to max 2 6-game suspension. At max, it would be a 6-game suspension on the conspiracy charge. The video doesn't really matter. If the video mattered, then the league would have already done something. The league would have said, look, we can't discipline you yet, but we can put you on paid leave, and then you can come back once this is all resolved. The fact that the league did nothing did absolutely nothing up to this point means the video doesn't hold much water with them. They really don't care. The NFL does not care. There have been no advertisers that have polled and said, you either get Kamara off the field or we're gone. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm literally the only person that has live streamed when both the videos broke. When all this news ever leaks, I go live whenever news breaks because your boy Smitty goes live whenever news breaks. Monday through Friday, I'm live at 7 p.m. for the news, but I'm also live whenever news breaks, like this very show right now. I'm also live tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, doing live drafts at midnight. I'm also live every Tuesday night doing the Panic Chamber, daily uploads. So you know I'm here for you. And I'm telling you, I'm the only one live streaming any kind of Kamara news. Nobody else does it. Find me one person. Nobody. The answer is nobody. Nobody's live streaming right now on Kamara News. Nobody live streamed when Kamara's video leaked the first time or the second time. Nobody. And guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So what am I here to do? I'm here to be your sounding board, but I'm also here to be your guidance counselor. And I'm telling you right now that Alvin Kamara is a steal walking into 2023 for this very reason. For this very reason, Dennis Allen has no plans of disciplining Alvin Kamara in-house. They don't care. They don't care. They're going to move forward. They do not care. They do not care about the video. They care about innocent until proven guilty, which we all should care about for sure when it comes to the law coming down on someone in terms of like the punishment from a criminal perspective, from the letter of the law, from the justice system. But inside a private organization, they don't care. They don't care. The NFL doesn't care. Dennis Allen doesn't care. No one cares. And the odds are, the way this thing is going, that most certainly he's probably looking at some sort of plea deal on the lesser charge, which will, no matter what you think of the video doesn't matter at this point. If he pleads guilty on the lesser charge, the conspiracy charge, which is a small charge, it's conspiring to do the act, not doing it. He's gonna see a 2 to maybe 6 game suspension. Alvin Kamara is going in the 7th and 8th round. And you cannot draft him at a principle. I get that. I understand that. There are a few of you out there, and I respect it. I respect the game. I respect the hustle. Here you are, sacrificing fantasy football points for principle. I commend you. I can't do that. I have to wear my fantasy football hat, my advisory hat. And my hat tells me that we've got to look at this thing from an objective perspective, from a fantasy football perspective, what's likely to happen perspective. And my indication right now, my best guesswork is that this kid right here is not going to suffer even remotely close to the amount of punishment and time off and discipline and money, whatever, that you think he's going to. In civil, maybe he gets hit hard in the civil side of this thing because there will be a civil trial, or if it has, I think it might have even already began, or some of the proceedings have began. But in civil, the man will be going after monetary damages. In criminal, it's not even really up to this potential victim. It's the DA going to this, taking this to a grand jury, and that's where it is right now. And that's why no one can settle and get out of the situation. A lot of people run their mouth about this topic and they act like they know. They don't know. We've had attorneys on to break it all down. You don't settle in criminal. This is not something that goes away because, oh, Kamara will just settle. You can't settle in criminal, Bob. You can't do it. It's not the same as in civil. So, draft Kamara in round 7 and keep doing it. Smitty approved. Whether we agree with the man or not and his actions off the field, from a business perspective, fantasy football hat being put on. Alvin Kamara round 7.
You've just been Smitty approved.
So, we're going to go ahead and move on from this topic real quickly. Alvin Kamara. Draft him around 7. Michael Thomas update. This goes out to, who is my Michael Thomas? Garrett? This one goes out to Garrett. Garrett, this is between you and me, young man. Garrett is an awesome super chatting follower here on the Fantasy Football Show. And he's going to buy a $99 lifetime membership on the fantasyfootballshow.com if Michael Thomas doesn't outscore Olave. Well, we this isn't new news either. This is just more confirmation of what we already know. When asked about Michael Thomas's injury situation and update, Saints head coach Dennis Allen replied on the Rich Eisen show. He's still going through some of the rehab process. He had some hardware removed from that foot that he had surgery on this past season. He's working extremely hard. There were some positives. I made sure to include that. He's working extremely hard. He will be limited throughout this offseason. So don't expect to hear any great shining stories about Michael Thomas's rise back up to stardom. It's so weird that there are a few people in here, Garrett's one of them, that literally believe this man's going to return to form at some point. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's no way this guy's returning to form. He's a walking injury. He's got hardware being removed from his foot, and he's going to be limited the entire offseason. What does anybody really expect out of Michael Thomas walking into 2023? Our anticipation is that when we get to training camp, that he will be good to go, says Saints coach Dennis Allen. Of course he's going to say that. He's hoping he'll be good to go. He's having hardware removed from his foot. He's going to be limited the entire offseason. He's currently not able to play. And you got guys like Garrett out here putting his money on the line that this kid's going to come back. He's not. He's a walking injury. Chris Olave's the new number 1 wide receiver, not only in New Orleans, but Chris Olave's a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
You've just been Smitty approved.
I dare any single one of you to call into the show right now if you don't agree that Chris Olave has potential. You could say, I don't have him in my top 5, Smitty. I'm not going to yell at you for that. But you could literally say, hey, if you say, hey, I don't think he's capable of top 5, call into the show. Call into the show right now. The phone number is going on the screen. I dare you to call into the show. Give us your best shot. Give us your best shot. I'd love to hear it. Garrett's in the building. Garrett's a dude. Even though Garrett's off base a lot of the time, Garrett is a dude. Because Garrett will not run. Garrett could just stay quiet during this live stream. Garrett probably, I haven't even read his message yet. I'm not looking up yet. Garrett might not think this is bad news at all. I don't know. Garrett might just be overly optimistic about him across the board. But the fact that Garrett comes in here, I give him kudos to the moon. I won't give you a standing ovation on this one, but I'll give you a moonshot for sure. But Garrett, let's see what Garrett says. Garrett thinks Mike Thomas is better than Olave, which is just asinine to me. Big Mike is on demon ready to go for camp. Okay. Ready to go for camp. If that's what you took away from this, Garrett, maybe we'll do a double. Why don't we do the $199 membership? That comes with the 2 years of free text advice. If you want to up it from the $99 package to the $199, I'll give you the $199 package. You buy the $199 package if you're so bold, Garrett. Let's see what Garrett says on that. I got the top level package on thefantasyfootballshow.com. You get the 2 years of text advice. You get the content for life for $199. Never pay for content again. Get 2 years of text advice. Get on over there. Or you could just do the $99 lifetime content package. Or you could just do the $75 all content and text advice for 1 year at a time. Or just get the content for $35 for the whole year. Whatever you choose. But I'd love to hear what Garrett's going to say here. Because, Garrett, I'd be curious to know if you put your money where your mouth is on this one. Want to up it, Garrett? Is this news really that exciting to you? Michael Thomas is not somebody you want to own in 2023. Unless you're getting him at the end of your draft, I don't know that he's going to even help you. I think I got a couple super chats rolling in, one from Ron Navy. Ron Navy dropping a $20 hauler, services rendered. Ron, you are always welcome. Always welcome on this show. Ron Navy dropping the $20 hauler. And Ron, you always have my ear for any of your trades. I was helping Ron with a trade. Look at him. Ron, appreciate you. Jimmy G for president. Michael Thomas, Super Bowl MVP. Kamara win the NFL Ethics Player of the Year. Those are some good ones, James. Rockout dropping a super chat. Rockout says, Smitty, you're live. Thank you, sir. I am, and I appreciate you, Rockout. Let's see if Garrett responded. Garrett says, stick with the $99 bet. I don't blame you, Garrett. That's a smart man right there. Up it to the $199 if Olave doesn't finish top 5 because there's no shot he does. No, because that's not... First of all, Garrett, finishing top 5 is hard. Like a bold prediction that he's top 1 to 5, he could finish number 6. He could finish number 7 and be 8 points away. I don't need to add that to the bet. I know you want to balance the scales, Garrett, but you're the one that came in here and said, Michael Thomas. What? I think you were shocked, too. I think you said, Garrett, something like, I don't know if you're on the phone. I kind of not sure if I'm remembering it correctly. But Garrett's like, what? You like Olave more than Mike Thomas? What? Garrett. You got to love Garrett. We got Lancaster dropping the $50 board bet, or the receipt season is here. And then we got Aloha coming in with a $20 hauler. Aloha says, hi, Smitty. Thank you, Aloha. Appreciate you. Aloha's my dude. Man's an absolute machine. Appreciate Aloha. And Lancaster, Kamara finishes running back 3 or worse. Running back 3 or worse on the Saints regardless of suspension. Okay, I thought you were saying he's finishing number 3. Put it on the board. He was washed last year, and now he has competition. This actually isn't the craziest take, and I'll put it on the board, and it will be a decent one to look at. I don't know if you want to make something bolder to win the contest, because I think some people will say I didn't like Kamara anyway. In Lancaster, you might not get what you want out of the reaction of people if he doesn't finish this way. I don't know. Chat, you can let him know. If you got something bolder, it might be better for the board. Because there's an argument here. You know, Ron's made this point that he didn't exactly have a good year last year, so why are we excited about him with that on top of the fact that there still could be, in a best-case scenario, a 2 to 6 game suspension? I get it, but I also feel like this situation is definitely changing and bringing Carr in. The offense struggled tremendously last year, and now that you get Olave stretching the field, Kamara, to me, I remember... Because I look at this from a very weird angle that a lot of you don't. A lot of you look at your teams, and some of you may have had Kamara, but if you didn't have Kamara, you're not looking at Kamara the same way that I am. I'm looking at every single player in a different light than all of you because I'm reporting on it, and I'm trying my very best, and I very, very much am. I'm trying my very best to wear an unbiased hat, and I do believe I do a good job. Some people think that I dig my heels in. I don't. I'm probably one of the analysts you find most that people say, oh, he flip-flopped on something. When it's not flip-flopping, it's adjusting and adapting. That's what you want your analyst to do. And I'll admit when I do it. I'll admit why I'm doing it. Remember, I was high on Najee in the early part of last offseason in like January, February, and I came in here on an emergency live stream and said, time to change directions. There's concern with the foot. And Najee ended up having a really, really bad start to the season. And even though he turned it around at the end of the year, a lot of people had a lot of L's and they couldn't really turn their season around. So whether you own Najee or not last year, you knew that he struggled. And so like that's an example of me loving a player and then switching gears and coming in and adjusting and adapting. Me loving Breece Hall and not Javonte at the beginning of this season doesn't mean I don't love Javonte late in the draft. And in best ball, I love Javonte for the midseason on, but you see me being objective with Breece Hall's ACL recovery, but not being excited about Javonte's. I'm very, very, I think, unbiased when it comes to that. And I'll say this, my whole point being, I watched Alvin Kamara. And I watched every carry. I watched every play. I watched the offense. They struggled so badly to give him room. The concerning part for me isn't does he look like he dropped off. He doesn't. I watched every carry. He doesn't look like he dropped off. He looked fast. He looked elusive. He did hit congestion when he tried to run the football, which I think is why Carr is going to help that part of the concern. But the concern for me is not has he fallen off. My concern is usage. There was times when he was healthy, everything looked good, and then the team would run other backs. They would rotate, and they'd take Kamara out, and it wasn't because he was banged up. So I feel like, the only concern I'm running up against is will they do that again, or Were they kind of sparing the mileage? Were they kind of just like, let's try this out? We're not really, what's the use in just grinding Kamara into the ground? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the reason behind it. It's still a concern for me because I don't have the answer. I'm just going to be honest with you. There is a red flag. There's a lot of red flags with players that I like. It's when there's multiple red flags that pile up on top of each other that we back off and say, look, too many red flags. You know, Austin Eckler, he's 28 years old, red flag. Austin Eckler's smaller running back. And to continue to get the volume he's getting, another red flag. Like there's multiple red flags that pile up. You start saying, okay, maybe I don't go in that direction. With Kamara, there's a suspension, but that's baked into his ADP, so I'm not even counting that because I'm getting him in the 7th round. I'm not concerned about the suspension at all. I don't care if he gets 6 games, and I'll be delighted if he gets 2 in terms of my fantasy value, not in terms of the potential victim. But I will say this. I'll say that Kamara did not fail my eye test. I watched every single carry. He looked fine. He didn't lose a step yet. He looks fine. My only concern would be usage, and I don't know the answer to that. But 7th round, I'm willing to take the chance. 7th round is an absolute smash. Lancaster, just talking fantasy stats as a starting running back. Lancaster, did you want to keep this prediction, the Kamara prediction? Let me see if he updated anything. Eno Benjamin is better than Kamara per star. I think he wants to keep this one. Okay, so we're going to put this on the screen. Let me grab this and put this on the board. Okay, so we'll put this on the board. For those that don't know what we're doing here, the $50 hauler board is a receipt. This is receipt season right here. Anybody that drops a $50 hauler, I wanted to reward people that are dropping the big wad, on the screen. If you're dropping the big wad, 50 or more on the screen, I want to put a bold prediction on the board. No limit. You can do as many as you want. And the best prediction voted by you, the viewers, you, the chat. The chat will vote who the number 1 predictor is from this board. I've got mine in this box. They're kind of just like the Moon Men and stuff, just so it's on here, just for fun. I had last year's Burrow, Chase, St. Brown still on the board from 2022, so I just left those. These have been on here since February and March, most of them. I added some that were on the bottom here, but we're gonna go ahead and put any $50 hauler predictions on here. The winner voted by the chat will co-host a show, an entire show. You get to co-host the show with me on the phone or video, whatever you prefer. And then we're also going to give you, I'm going to give you a lifetime membership to thefantasyfootballshow.com, the content membership, the $99 package, and then probably some other stuff. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll definitely have something else. So we're going to go with, this is going to be Lancaster, says Kamara. This is 5. It's still 5'10" for me. 5'10". Kamara. Saints. Running back 3. Alvin Kamara, Saints running back 3. Did I get that correct? Finishes running back 3 or worse on the Saints regardless of suspension. Okay. Alvin Kamara, Saints running back 3. And that is Lancaster. Thank you, Lancaster, for being on the board. We got Aloha on the board. You guys can see all these predictions. We got Kamara finishes 3 or worse from Lancaster. Aloha says Trey Lance will be the next Jalen Hurts and take San Francisco to the Super Bowl. Ron Navy is betting a separate amount. Just deserves to be on here. $766 bet that if the Bengals win the division, he's going to pay that. And if the Steelers win, I'm going to give him, I forget the whole details. Ron knows them. We're going to put his name on the top of the screen and dedicate a whole show to him and shrine for Ron Navy. We've got Tyler G. I put this up here for free because it was so bad. He said, LOL, I don't take him that early. Talking about Bijan. And let me fix this. Bijan as a first rounder. Tyler. He laughed. Big LOL. Capital LOL. I don't take him that high. LOL. Bijan as a first rounder. That I threw on here just for free. Matto dropped a $50 hauler and says Irv Smith is a top 7 tight end, and the Cincinnati Bengals win the Super Bowl. That's an awesome one. I love that Bengals win the Super Bowl one. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. So there's that, okay? And then we got another one, it looks like. Another one. This one is from so Rockout. Thank you, Rockout, for dropping that super chat. Team so far: Fields, Barkley, AK, Pierce, Hill, Moore. It's fantastic, Rockout. This is a $50 hauler from Jake. Jake says Bijan #1 overall running back this year by at least 20 points. Okay. Now I do have to warn you, Jake, and I can't win this, so you can still win this. You're the first person to drop a Bijan prediction on here, and you went probably the highest, unless somebody comes out here. And I don't know that we're going to be okay with somebody saying Bijan's going to outscore everybody by 21 points. Like, I don't think that works. You can't really do. You got to come up with something better than that. But Bijan, the #1 running back, you're the first person to come out here and say it. So you might win this bet if that happens. I do have, obviously Bijan on here, and you and I are in agreement here. And so I love this one. This one's from, this is Jake. Let me box some of these off. Okay, so Jake, Bijan, running back, won by 20 points. And this is 5-10. Nice. Nice prediction. Receipt season. Look at these on the board. $50 supers. Get your receipt put on the board. We'll reflect on it all year. And if anybody ever wants to know what they are, I got them on screen so I can pull them up at any time. So we're going to put Jake's on here. Jake's got one, and that is this one right here. $50 hauler. Bijan, #1 running back in 2023 by at least 20 points. I like it. That's fire, bro. Okay, so let me put these away, and we'll get back to business. And if anybody has another one they want to drop it live. Appreciate you. Receipt season, baby. Receipt season. Lancaster, I love yours. Aloha, I love yours. I love everybody's bold prediction. Drop it like it's, like it's nothing. Thank you, Jake. Charbonnet will outscore Gibbs. Well, Tram, you gotta drop it. You gotta drop it. Everyone is sleeping on the Bengals. I said Burrow would throw for 5K. George from the Bay, at some point, drop it on the board. Klondike, everyone told me I was a fool when I did it. What did you do, Klondike? Klondike says, I have Hurts, so I wanted the stack. What did you do, Klondike? Klondike says, I was watching the last stream, and I traded Eckler for AJB straight up. Is that in a dynasty league? And I honestly, in a redraft, you're drafting A.J. Brown ahead of Eckler. So how on earth is anybody shocked by that? If it's even, you know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Aloha dropping his second bold prediction. I don't think there's much predictions. So Kincaid top 5 this season. Love this prediction. You sure don't want to go a little higher, like 4? Just to kind of dip in a little more? Are we going top 5? Also, it's your turn for the Garrett Wilson draft. Okay, I'll take a look at that when we go in. Or no, I'll look right now while I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, I love this prediction. Let me go to the board now. $50 hauler prediction, receipt season. Let's put it up on the board. This one I absolutely love. This one's fantastic. Kincaid top 5. This is another one from Aloha. There's no limit to the amount of $50 bold predictions you can drop. So $50 hauler from Aloha. Aloha's got his already on here. Trey Lance next Hurts Super Bowl win for the San Francisco 49ers. 5-9. So on 5-10, one day later, Aloha again. Kincaid top 5 tight end And what was the other part of that prediction? Kincaid top 5 this season. Also, it's your turn. Okay, that's it. So that's 5, and this is 5, 10. I like that one. I like that one, buddy boy. These are some good predictions. Kincaid, I love Kincaid. I get the biggest smile on my face when I think about Kincaid. If that's not an indication, guys, of my gut really driving home a prediction, is when I'm like giddy about it. Like I just think about owning Kincaid in Dynasty, getting him at that 5 or 6 rookie pick where people are like, "Oh, that's early. There's Smitty." Like Kincaid, I get so excited. Thinking about Kincaid. Honestly, get Kincaided. I mean, really, really. Get Kincaided. Aloha, I changed it to Super Bowl to show in Super Bowl. So they just have to show in the Super Bowl. So I fixed it for you. I appreciate that, Aloha, and the clarification. Kincaid, top 5 is reasonable. Trey said, no, it's not reasonable. Is that what you're saying, Trey? Definitely let me know. Phone lines are open. If I missed anybody's phone call, I apologize. I've been dealing with the $50 haulers, putting them on the board. I love this board so far. Let me take a photo of it and put it on screen so you guys can actually see it. Let's put this on screen and you guys can take a little gander at it. But I love this. This is better than the door in a way. I got all your names on the door still. I remember when we told Miss Smitty, she came into the studio here in the office, and I said, "Hey, I'm putting people's names on the door that give $20 haulers," and she goes, her expression was like, "Okay," and I was like, "Miss Smitty, we can repaint it with one of the super chats. We'll be fine." So she's like, "Okay, we'll go ahead." We'll go ahead and do it. We'll do it this time. We'll go ahead. It's okay. Miss Smitty approved. We got to have a Miss Smitty approved button. But yeah, so this is more exciting to me. We're going to wipe it clean at the end of the year and do it again next year. But $50 haulers, put your prediction on the board. Kincaid is going to be a steal at 8. I love Kincaid, bro. I love Kincaid. Just curious, what were the top 5 tight end numbers last season? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. This is like funeral music. It's just Kincaid getting crowned. It's like a crowning ceremony. And that's the king. That's Elvis, essentially, right? The king. He's the king. Kincaid. He's getting crowned, bro. What kind of music you want? He's getting crowned. Look at. We got Matt O dropping another $50 wad. Matt O wants on the bold prediction board. This one looks nice. Bold prediction number 2. This is his second. Pollard, Gibbs, Najee finished top 6. McCaffrey, Jonathan, Taylor, Eckler finish outside top 5. This is probably, look, honestly, even over the Kincaid and Bijan predictions, not saying that anybody has to redo theirs or anything because it's already on the board. It's locked. But to put all of this in one, if Matt O nails all of these, he will win. Because there's a complicated prediction. Like this is like doing a 7, team parlay. But you gotta love it. So let's go over to the board and put it up. This one's crazy. This one's really bold. Okay, so this is Matt O. 5, 10. Matt O. Pollard. Pollard, Gibbs, Najee, Gibbs, top 6 RB, top 6 RBs, McCaffrey, JT, Eckler outside top 5. Woo! CMC, Eckler, what is it? Eckler, JT. That's bold, bro. JT. Outside top 5 RBs. That's bold. That's gonna win. I mean, if it happens. If it happens, it'll win. I'm not saying it's for sure going to win, but if it happens. Rockout says, Smitty, where is your Grindhouse? That's true, Rockout. That's true, Rockout. Rockout's correct. This is Grindhouse night. Grindhouse, baby. Grindhouse.
You are entering the panic chick.
Grindhouse. Grindhouse.com, ladies and gentlemen. Get your Grindhouse on. This is the most phenomenal apparel that I've ever put on. And let me just tell you something. We've got a nice, exciting announcement coming. Hats are on the way. And guess who's going to be making them? Grindhouse. I took my hats off of my merch store because I wasn't satisfied. I love the clothing. The clothing's phenomenal. I think hats are tough. Hats are tough because a lot of these companies that do drop ship merch and stuff, and the merch we have is phenomenal. The shirts are great. I love them. They're great quality. But, and this is for the brand, not the Grindhouse is separate. But I reached out to Grindhouse because I love Grindhouse. They're my boys. And I said, hey, look, I'm having a tough time getting a really good hat. And so Grindhouse is making them right now. They're going to have a patch on them. So it'll be a flex fit hat. Might be white. I don't know if there'll be different color options. They might have them. And it's going to have an actual patch, like a sewn, amazing thick patch that will have the logo, the Fantasy Football Show logo here and probably here. I think it'll be on both. I don't know if there'll be maybe just the website here and the patch here. We're still working it out, but the hats are coming. And I'm super excited about it. But Rockout, thank you for the reminder. Grindhouse, go to grindhaus.com. I'll put that in the live chat right now. Get your Grindhouse apparel, please. These guys are amazing. We're going to give away one piece of apparel every single month at a minimum. Just, and then we're going to do other, promotions and stuff. Maybe we'll give away a couple hats every couple of months or whatever. Every quarter we'll give away a little something. I don't know. But we're definitely giving away a shirt a month. And so get ready. This shirt's absolutely awesome. If you look at the back. So this is the Grindhouse shirt. They fit unbelievably well. And here's the back. So the back has all kinds of awesome designs on it. This particular one is the Reptilicus. Reptilicus is one of my favorites. A nice clean white. Reptilicus was an awesome. A lot of these are awesome shows from the olden days, movies. So check out Grindhouse. Get on over to grindhaus. I'm going to pin that link in the chat right now. Grindhouse.com. A mix of movies and hoodies. What's better? Godzilla, Frankenstein, Spider, Reptilicus is absolutely phenomenal. We're giving away shirts. I owe one to, I think it's Brian. Brian is the last winner, so he'll be the guy getting the shirt, I think, this month. Here's that image of everybody's super chat so far, the $50 haulers that are on the board behind me. Guys, 112 of you in here, please punch that thumb up button. We only have 50 thumbs up. We can do better than that. It helps the channel out. Look at these. Aloha, Kincaid, top 5 tight end. Jake, Bijan running back 1 by 20 points. Sorry about the sloppy writing. I can read it though. Kamara, Saints running back 3, Lancaster. I might rewrite these in a cleaner look. Matt O, Irv Smith, top 7 tight end, Cincinnati Super Bowl. Tyler, this one's a freebie. Tyler says, LOL, Bijan top 12 pick. Aloha, Trey Lance next Hurts. Super, or San Francisco. I keep thinking Superflex when I see SF now. San Francisco show in the Super Bowl. Those are all the bold predictions so far. And I appreciate all of you dropping those. And it looks like we got one more from Aloha. Aloha's not done. You thought Aloha was done, but he's not done. Matt O, appreciate you dropping a super chat. Chiefs don't make the playoffs. Where am I? Where am I? This is about as bold as it gets. This is about as bold. Look, I'm giving him a standing ovation, not because I agree with it, but because this guy's trying to win the competition.
Let's go, mashed potatoes.
Oh, man. Chiefs don't make the playoff. That is bold, bro. That is bold, bro. Like that. I don't know. Does anybody think that that's bolder than Matt O's that Matt O just put on the board? Does anybody, which one's bolder? Let's take a little vote real quick. If both of these worked out, because Matt O's is it's like a 10 player, it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6, 7 team parlay, whatever. This is like a 6 or 7 team parlay. This is hard to hit, but this is almost like one of those odds you go and it's like you have to bet, you could literally bet $1 to win like 10 grand. Like 10,000 to 1 odds. I'd love to know which one is bolder. Well played, Aloha, says Matt. And it's not like, these got to land for you to win. But wow. Chapo says Aloha with the free $50 to Smitty. I don't know. That's such a tough one. Aloha is the boldest. Baked and Boys says if both of these land, Aloha wins. But bro, Matt, yours is still massively bold. George from the Bay says, let me come in and back up my boy Aloha a little bit. The AFC is stacked with 10 teams that could get in, so it's reasonable. Mahomes' injury, and they're done. That's true. There's no injury. If an injury happens to Mahomes, that's all fair game. Aloha is gonna win. Imagine if Mahomes went down. Aloha, look at this guy. Look how serious. We know this is the Batman, but maybe Aloha is the Batman. But I picture him looking just like this. And if this lands, if Mahomes gets hurt, knock on wood, I don't want him getting hurt. But if Mahomes were to get hurt, this man's walking straight into this live stream and saying, I won the bet. We're all going to go, yes, sir. Yes, sir, you did. That bet is on the way to getting paid. Without Mahomes, the Chiefs don't make the playoffs. If, let's say he went down early. That's crazy. We got another Chiefs missing the playoffs is bolder. Okay. Oh, Matt O's is bolder. Okay, Ricky likes Matt O's. Matt O's with 6-leg parlay. That's 8 months from now, says Chapo. Aloha is the Batman. Honestly, at this point, I believe he probably is. Okay, this is really good. Let's put Aloha's new one on the board because this is phenomenal. All right. So Aloha's new one is Chiefs don't make the playoffs. 5-10 Aloha. KC doesn't make playoffs. And you know what? Just because this is my lead dog, I'm going to kind of highlight it so it's easy to locate later when we're trying to say, what's the boldest one on the board? This is probably the boldest one. Matt O's is very close. So, Matt, you'll be right below him. I'll be able to identify yours. I'll remember, the second boldest is right below Aloha's. But Aloha's is by far the boldest so far. That's KC. That's a good one. Let's see here, Matt O's. Let me see if I got Matt O's on here. Okay, I think I got them all on here. So I'm going to keep them all on here, the original Super Chat as well. I'm going to keep the original Super Chat. So I don't know if you could hear me. Original Super Chat is going to be, I think, kept on the screen, too. I'm collecting them to make sure. Aloha says, I'm broke now. Drops to $199. That's all right, bro. That's all right. Appreciate you. And I can't thank you enough. Bold prediction, Smitty grows his hair back. Not anymore, bro. I keep it thin because it doesn't grow like it used to. I am receding a little bit. Not that everybody is. But my hair doesn't look good growing out anymore. At least I get the little shadow. Bold prediction. Damian Harris, top 10 running back. That would be a bold one. You dropped a 50 on that one, you'd probably be in the mix for sure. All the money goes to Miss Smitty anyway, says George from the Bay. Well, not entirely inaccurate. Did someone make a bet with him to grow it out? No one did. I'm not I like my hair tight. I'm not gonna make that bet. I look awful with my hair growing out these days as I get older. What is the over/under on bold predictions? What is the over/under on bold predictions? I don't know, Matt. What do you mean? What is the over/under? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Okay, so Mike Thomas, we got that news out of the way. Mike Thomas had hardware taken out of his foot, not looking like a good bet to help anybody in week 1. But they think he could be ready for week 1. Optimistically, they're saying it. They're acting like it's gonna be the case. I don't think it will. And the other piece of news, in case anybody is late, Alvin Kamara, according to head coach Dennis Allen, they've got no indication from the league on anything. And so we got to prepare the possibility that we don't have him, and that's why they drafted Kendre Miller. I will say, if you draft Kamara, you should draft Kendre Miller. You got to. I want my big package deal if Judy places five spots over London. I got to put that over here on the board. I want the big package deal if Judy places 5 spots over London. What is let's go back to the original Trey. What was it? It was Judy outscores London, right? Judy outscores London for what was it? Which package was it? The $99 package? I think that's what it was. Are you drafting on Underdog tonight? Roger, I think we will. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Let's do that live. Let's get into a draft right this very second. Let's go in, broskies. Let's do it. Doing it live. Alvin Kamara, that news. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get this right here. Let's get this out of the way. This is wrong one. This is this is good. Black Friday football. This is a good one. The first ever Black Friday game just announced on Black Friday. The Dolphins at the New York Jets. That is a fantastic game. Hopefully Tua's healthy and everything's going good. And I can't wait to that's awesome. That's a good game. This right here, Christmas Day, Giants, Eagles, that's phenomenal. That's a great game. Rock out dropping another. Smitty gets an invite as a kicker in August. That's a good one. Can you imagine? I probably wouldn't take, I would do it. Who are we kidding? I would do it. But I would live stream still every night in the hotel room. I'd figure it out. I wouldn't leave you guys hanging, but I'd do both of them. We'd live stream it. I have the ninth round receiver. Bold take coming soon, Golf says. Okay, Golf, we'll be looking out for it. Appreciate you. All right, let's get into the best ball draft. We're going to swipe over to the third card, which is the puppy. I'm going to click it, but not click enter yet. Okay, so I want to get people a chance. The link is, I don't know if I pinned it in the live chat yet. I think I pinned the Grindhouse link. Guys, make sure you click on that Grindhouse link, okay? Go visit my boys Grindhouse. I'm going to put the new link in here. This is for the draft. I'm going to pin that right now. You have to be, on Underdog. Use that code Smitty, which is in the link. Just click the link and it'll put the code in for you. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Puppy drafts, $5 an entry, $500K in prizes. $75,000 goes to first place. Second place gets $40,000, and so on. All the prizes are right there. It's 0.5 PPR. Passing touchdowns are 4 points. Every other touchdown is worth 6. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 flex, and 10 bench spots. Click the green button now to get in. We're all jumping in. I'm going to wait 4, 3, 2, 1 because of the YouTube delay. I'm getting in there. 6 more to start, so plenty of you are going to be able to file on in and get into this. Kenobi says, can we draft for you? I will try. The only problem is there's a YouTube delay, and with that 25-second timer, it's usually chaotic. And whenever I've tried this, I've timed out. But you guys can give me your suggestions while we're looking. Like, start dropping names ahead. Look at the board and tell me who I should go with, okay? 1 more to start, and this draft will begin in 45 seconds after it fills. 1 more to start. Use that link in the live chat. It's pinned. Use the link in the description if you're watching this video later and you want to get signed up ahead of time to get into the next draft series. And we draft every single, of course, I'm live 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, whenever news breaks, like this live stream tonight. And then I'm live Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So tomorrow's Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are live draft marathon nights every single week from now until kickoff. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, very easy to remember. 3 days in a row. We kick off our draft weekend early on Thursday. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, midnight Eastern. That's how we roll. That's when we draft. Trey says, Trey, what was our thing? I'm drafting from the 5 spot. Trey, what was it? Judy finishes 5 spots over London, is the best bowl prediction, no cap. That would be pretty good. If you drop that on a $50 hauler, you might be at a real good shot to win that. But what was the thing that we had? Did we have one or no? Kincaid won't be top 5. Laughing emoji. How are you gonna laugh at that? How are you gonna laugh at that? Drake slander. Judy finishes 5 spots. I want my big package. What was our little agreement, Trey? Did we have one or no? All right, here we go. It's go time. Number 1 overall pick is Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase goes to Aloha, who apparently wasn't completely broke because he was able to get into a $5 hauler draft. So awesome to hear. Glad to see you. And again, appreciate you very, very much. Bijan's gone, of course. At this point, without being able to trade down like my video today highlights, I'd probably go Tyreek Hill. No. I got a lot of Tyreek Hill. I'm going to go Cooper Kupp in this draft. I just want 1 share of him. Oh, Trey, that's right. I said I didn't want to keep handing out and doing them. London versus Judy. I'll do the $99 hauler one, or the $99. You do the $99 lifetime content membership, or I give it to you if you want to do that, Trey, on just Judy versus London. And then I can't keep doing those because I'm gonna lose track of them, and everybody. I'll write it on the board though. So if you want to do that, I'll throw it on the board, Trey. But that's the last one for now. TD Strikers, Ron Navy's in the building. RDJ Sports is is in this one. We got Ryan Johnson in here. We've got George from the Bay. We've got Gladiator in here. Aloha. We're filling this one up. This is a bunch of our crew in here. Kelsey went number 7. Tyreek Hill went number 6. Where did Ron Navy go? Ron Navy's drafting from the 10 spot, and he's on the clock right now. AJ Brown went 9. Diggs went 8. Kelsey went 7. Tyreek Hill went 6. Rockout's dropping a super chat here. Look at this bad boy. Rockout says, how do we keep getting in the wrong draft? I don't know, my guy. Maybe the stream's like delayed for you or something. I don't know. Make sure you're all caught up. Sick Nasty says, can we run a full PPR Dynasty startup draft? I don't control the scoring. Most of these formats are all 0.5 PPR to accommodate all of the non-PPR people and all the PPR people. So best ball is usually all 0.5. Do I have to buy if I lose? I don't have any money. Well, do I have to buy if I lose? Well, that's the whole point of these. So you're coming in with a bold prediction and you're saying this is going to happen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then that's where we start arguing. They go, fine. You want to do a little challenge? So deal's off. Deal's off, Trey. Appreciate you though. Appreciate you, Aloha. Yeah, we'll do mock drafts. We'll do PPR mock drafts for sure. And we'll probably have a big tournament draft. Okay, so don't worry, hang tight. You guys got to stop taking Olave. You guys are going to ruin Olave's value. Man, Olave. Is that one of ours? I think DJ Speedy's one of ours. Play the odds game, guys. Don't reach so high for somebody. Don't reach so high for somebody. Take other players and, enjoy that draft slot, instead of forcing your draft slot into another one by taking it. Because, Olave at 13, that's, the highest you're going to, that's, I'm not saying he's not going to earn that necessarily, but that's going to leave a mark over and over and over. And you got to plan, plan accordingly. The maybe things won't go exactly like we planned. But the sniping is crazy inside our community. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see these guys go higher. I gotta be the only one who thinks Wilson shouldn't be taken in the first 2 rounds. I think you're not the only one to think he should fall to the top of 2, but you're probably the only person on the planet, King, that doesn't think Garrett Wilson should be at least a second rounder. Yeah, you'd be on the board there. You dropped a $50 hauler. I would be one of the league dog candidates for a bold prediction. I'll tell you that right now. My guy. That's let's anybody want to confirm with King that you agree with King's statement? Somebody be bold enough and don't just try and agree just to be that oddball. Does anybody truly believe? Anyone have experience with auction drafts? We do them all the time, bro. I got auction content all the time. Hang tight for it. Does anybody believe what he just said? That Garrett Wilson? I appreciate you being bold and saying it, but yeah, I that's crazy. Let's see. Let me go. It's a little early here, but not really. I mean, Breece Hall's in the late second round. I need an RB. I've got Cooper Kupp already. We'll go Breece. Lucas, hell no. Love the early wide receiver strategy with the mid-round QB running back. Great value late. Golf says, yeah, it can be. It can be. Garrett Wilson put up 1,000 yards with no quarterback, says Max. Yeah, Wilson is insane, and now he has a Hall of Fame quarterback. This is all what I'm saying. Nah, I'm a Garrett Wilson truther. Garrett Wilson put up 1,000 yards. That's one of the boldest things I've ever heard. Not even a top 24 overall player, Garrett Wilson. He's he's climbing in this first round in our group, but he's really like a 13, 14, 15 overall player. But I don't know. Our group is drafting so much. I have a feeling we're gonna ruin his ADP. We're gonna ruin Garrett Wilson's ADP. This is the latest I've seen him go in a while in our group too. We've taken him at like 6'5". That's crazy. It's too early. Don't ruin his ADP. Chris Olave at 13 is too early. This is almost take a lap material. Where you're ruining. You're taking the blueprint and you're showing everybody your hand too. Like this is. We got to pump the brakes on the reaching, guys. I'm going to cue Burrow in case I time out. I'm just looking around. I'll go Joseph. He's a guy that, like, you can take in the third even if he could fall to round 4. You know, you don't know that you're going to get him. And reaching a half a round in best ball is not a big deal in that context. Taking Olave at 13, it's not as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be. It's in terms of one draft. You know what I mean? Like, could I see myself taking him at 14 or 15, which is just 1 or 2 spots later? In all honesty, I want to say, like, I could see it happening, but the thing is I wouldn't do it on the regular, and I feel like some people are going to do it every time. Smitty's the biggest reacher. I don't think Joe Burrow at the middle of the third round is a reach, though, pal. He can fall to 4, but it's not a guarantee, especially in our group. You know, at this point, all the reaching's been done, and we're literally drafting players at a different level now. There's a scarcity already at play. There's a scarcity at play right now that, quite honestly, what do I got here? Phone calls. There we go. There's a scarcity at play that Joe Burrow is not really a reach right now because of all the reaching that's already been done. You guys already ruined his ADP. I thought I was a Jets fan. I could get him in the third. Jake, you were never going to get him in the third. That's wishful thinking that was never even a possibility. That was before we even touched it. He was a late second rounder maybe. But he was never in the third round. Yeah, peanut butter's right. I make calculated reaches. I feel like I do. I feel like I don't make stupid reaches. I make calculated reaches. I'm not saying anybody in here is making stupid reaches. I'm just saying. Let me just say this, though. Okay, DJ Speedy may have reached, but this is where in best ball it's a little different. You can still recover. He's got a fire team. Okay? DJ Speedy has Fields, ETN, CeeDee Lamb, and Olave. I don't think the reaching really hurt him, but what it's going to do is hurt Olave's value is all I'm saying. So, like, one-off situation, you know, it doesn't really, it's not a big deal. But, like, if you start taking Olave there and you do 4 drafts a day and people that are in your draft see him go there, and so they think about the next draft, like the cascading effect of doing that impacts thousands of people. You taking Olave at 13 overall in, let's say, 12 drafts impacts thousands because of all those people that see it, and then they think a little bit about letting Olave slip next time, and they don't, and then that impacts, you know, the 12 people or the 11 other people that saw that, and so on. Like, it's an infection. So you just gotta be a little careful thinking, oh, it's not gonna affect anything. It's one time, but you know. It definitely can. Definitely can affect a lot of different things. Ryan Johnson is on the clock. Then WS is on the clock. We'll call him 5'10". 5'10's on the clock. You crazy? Who's crazy? Who's crazy? Who's crazy, bro? I really would have liked. See, you're not going to get things like London to fall in this kind of draft. Who's my Breece Hall, Cooper Kupp? I really would have liked London to fall. That would have been a great pick, but I still don't mind the Kenneth Walker. I mean, that squad's pretty solid. Breece Hall, Walker, Cooper Kupp, Burrow. I mean, a month ago you couldn't have got that, but it's a different situation. George from the Bay. Let's see what kind of reaching George has been up to. Not bad, bro. Doesn't look like a lot of reaching to me. 21 for Pollard. A little higher, but not bad. Not crazy. 28 for Henry. I don't mind that. This is a good running back stable. DJ Moore, quietly your wide receiver 1. I don't mind that. Yes, really overrated. ADP hasn't played in 2 years. I agree with Ron. There's just no way I'm taking. I'm sorry, the phone lines. Ron's calling in. I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't see the phone line. If anybody wants to dial in, the phone lines are open. I agree with you, Ron. I think one of the most overvalued. Not that I'm rooting for him. And guys, hit that thumb up button. There's 70 thumbs up, 121 of you in here. Not that I'm rooting against him. I'm very much rooting. I'm a huge Jacksonville supporter. Like, I love the Jags. I love me some T-Law dog. Like, T-Law to the moon. Absolute to the moon. And I'm super pumped about Ridley, and I really hope he proves us wrong. But it's about ADP. It's about cost of entry, risk versus reward. Saying that he's overvalued and avoiding him doesn't mean I don't like him. It just means that when you start taking Ridley, where did he go in this draft, Ron?
He was probably about
41.
Received above Christian Watson.
So he
was
went
up there with Debo.
Yeah, he went in the middle. It's high. It's really high.
And he said I'm crazy. He said I'm crazy, but I'm not taking Debo with a messed up quarterback room that 49ers have. I'm sorry. And I'm not taking Ridley that hasn't played in 2 years. That ADP is way too high, I feel. I'm taking Christian Watson, who I saw play last year, and I think he's going to even do better this year. So, yeah, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I don't
Garrett's
think so.
Crazy,
I don't think so at all. It's a tough call to make when to invest in Ridley. I get that because I do love Ridley's story, that we might see unfold where it's like, dude's counted out. He's wearing number 0, right? Isn't he wearing 0? He's wearing number 0. A lot of players wearing 0. It's gonna either come back to bite them, like they're a 0, or it's like this is a cool number that a lot of people are taking on. But I think he's 0, isn't he? Can someone confirm? I think I remember seeing that. So Ridley out for 2 years. We have Ricky Williams as an example, Michael Vick as an example of players that took off a major amount of time that was not season-ending injury related, where they're back training and they're still in the mix of it all. They're still absorbing the offense, and like it's he took time off, walked away from the sport. And even Watson's is in that wheelhouse too, because it wasn't like Watson suffered an injury. He's been sitting out. He was sitting out. So Watson, what did we see happen to Watson? Watson did not look to form. He did not look to form. So I don't know that we have a lot of relevant like examples that have happened lately. Lev Bell sat out. Lev Bell was garbage. So Watson was held out, but he's still same concept. Came back, did not look good. So I'm very, very, very much, I would say, pessimistic about what we're gonna get out of Calvin Ridley. But I'm very hopeful. So I want people to understand I'm rooting for him. Here's the board. I'm sorry I wasn't showing the board, guys, while I was talking. So where are we at right now? We're at Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, Aaron Jones, George Kittle, Michael Pittman, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen. I took Kyle Pitts. And now we're on the turn here, heading into round 6. Godwin just went. Traded A.J. Brown and ETN for Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 1.5 in this year's rookie draft. Let's evaluate this trade. Traded ETN for Amon-Ra in the 1.5. Give me Amon-Ra in the 1.5 all day long. All day. Like, arguably, St. Brown goes ahead of ETN. How are you getting a 1.5 on top of that?
Got him.
I can understand somebody needing a running back, or you're on the clock and you take ETN over St. Brown. Like, that's not crazy. Like, I can understand doing that. I understand it. But to get a 1.5 on top of it when value-wise you shouldn't have gotten that to begin with, that's a crazy. I don't know if that's veto police, but it's close. Ron taking George Pickens. Smart, because I would have taken him. I would have taken him, Ron Navy. A.J. Brown as well. Yeah, A.J. Brown is in there. What are we talking about, A.J. Brown? What about A.J. Brown? Love A.J. Brown. Worry about his knees, but love A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is a monster.
I was on mute. I almost actually bypassed Pickens and took Addison. I was thinking about it.
I mean, I don't hate it. I don't agree with it, but I don't hate it. Like, I understand it. Mike Evans just went. I'm on the clock here. Or will be. I don't love these wide receivers here. I don't think I'm going to force wide receiver here because I don't love the options.
You only got one so far?
Yeah.
I thought you had more than that.
And I would take one, but I don't want to force it. I don't like these options. The question is, do I just go Charbonnet because he's not going to be there in this group on the way back? I got Walker. Should I just take him here? It's early, but...
Yeah, you could. You could, but, I mean, why not try an Addison? I mean, he might surprise you.
I'm just going to do it because you guys are going to snipe me. And this team is really, really good. Joe Burrow, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Pitts. I'm weak at wide receiver, but again, I didn't want to go wide receiver there, so I'll just take Charbonnet. But that's the earliest anybody should ever even contemplate him. And the only reason I'm doing it is because you guys it's been Snipe City. This is essentially like the top of the 7th round right now. That's how it really feels looking at the draft board because we've all sniped the hell out of each other. So right now, nowhere near the amount of players you really like at 68 overall are actually even there. My brother is telling me I lost the trade, but I'm not sure. Maybe got a little less value, but I'm getting younger assets. Did I get the trade wrong? Did I get the wrong? Did I have the wrong side of it? What was it? I don't know. Garrett says, Smitty, you just reached 32 picks, bro.
What the heck is he talking about?
He's going 32 picks. He's not 32 picks. He's going around 7. How did I reach 32 picks? Look at this squad, Garrett. This squad does this squad not get you excited, Garrett? It gets me excited. Burrow, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Cooper Kupp, Pitts. I'm pretty excited, Garrett. I don't think I lost anything at the wide receiver position. Everybody that was kind of there is still there. I don't know how I feel about this crew. I might go with a guy that I really, really, really like right here. Smitty's lost right now. How am I lost, Trey? The phone line's right here.
Really?
You call in and tell me. You tell me how I'm lost. I feel completely fine. I'm lost 0%, Trey. You're lost. Your team's lost as you don't know what to do at quarterback. You know who I might go with right here? Kind of a nice little sleeper in this territory. I'm going to go Dotson.
Yeah, he is. Everybody forgets about Dotson, but he was doing well last year, and he's sure-handed.
Harris is calling in. Ricky Hernandez just said get Dotson. Already did. He's on the roster, pal. Jake with the $5 hauler. Hang tight real quick. Harris, hang tight while I read this super chat. Jake says, I was a member 2 years ago till YouTube banned me during COVID. You loved Mims. You think he can be a player with Rodgers. I loved him also. I don't think so, man. I think there's a couple guys that I've liked in the past that did not translate whatsoever. I liked Mims a lot, Denzel Mims a lot back, when he entered the NFL. I thought N'Keal Harry had a lot of upside, and they both got destroyed by the decisions of their team to not use them, not throw them out there, not get their feet wet. It was ridiculous. Both those guys fell off the face of the earth, completely just became nothing burgers, So... I'm catching strays, says Trey. Smitty is condoning reaching behavior. I think you got to understand, though, what we're dealing with here, Hod. We're dealing with an already reach environment where we're all just getting sniped left and right. And literally, I'm taking a guy that is about a round earlier than normal because we're looking at a different board than you'd be looking at in a general situation. But tell me how I'm reaching with this team, my guy. You tell me. That's pretty good. Cooper Kupp and Dotson's actually a pretty crafty wide receiver crew, considering I didn't go wide receiver 2 shopping until 77 overall. I kind of like it. I like it. Mingo was his name-o.
Mingo, and Mingo was his name-o.
Me and George going back-to-back in another best ball draft. Jordan Love will be top 5 QB, Smitty. Logan, drop it on the bold prediction board. Man, I really wanted a couple of these guys that got taken. That was disappointing. I lost one of my guys I wanted.
Yo, what's up, Smitty?
What's up, pal? Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you hanging there. Who is this? This is Harris. Harris.
Yeah, I'm the Sesh Lake Show in the chat.
Oh, what's up, pal?
Yo, what's up, man? So I made a trade last night at like 4 a.m. I was just awake on like sleeper, just looking at some trades, and
Thank
I
you,
sent
Jake.
one. I woke up, it got accepted, and I sent AJ Brown and ETN for
Thank you, Jake.
Amon-Ra St. Brown and the 105 this year.
Say it again.
For the rookie
AJ
draft.
Brown and what?
AJ Brown and ETN for Amon-Ra St. Brown and the 105 this year.
AJ Brown and ETN for Amon-Ra on the 1.5. Didn't we just see that one? That was a different one, right?
Yeah, I think you saw AJ Brown in the trade though.
Okay, AJ Brown and ETN for Amon-Ra on the 1.5. It depends on who falls to 1.5, but I'd probably rather have AJ Brown and ETN. I mean, they're already both, highly ranked, and I don't even know what you're getting at 1.5. So, if I had to lean that direction, I would, unfortunately.
Yeah, my only reasoning was just because Amon-Ra is younger and I think, could have a higher ceiling than AJ Brown, but that's like saying a lot. That's just kind of like a little bit of a reach. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs could definitely outperform ETN.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandu says it's Superflex. What Superflex? Yeah, let's put it on the board. Give it to me one more time.
Me?
Yeah, AJ Brown, ETN.
Or Amon-Ra St. Brown and the 105 this year
Yeah.
and the Superflex. It is a super.
Okay. Yeah, that does factor a little bit. Sandu's right. That does factor in a little bit. Yeah, but who's going to be there in this Superflex draft? And if not, then could Gibbs be there? Or is Gibbs going to go?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Stroud because I'm weak in the QB area.
I mean, if it was Gibbs, I would smash it. If it's Gibbs, it works out really well. If it's not Gibbs and it's like Levis and you're forcing yourself to go Levis and, let's say it goes Bijan, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young. So Bijan, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young, Gibbs, and then you've got that 5 pick, then I don't like it. If you get Gibbs or one of those 2 quarterbacks, then it's pretty solid.
You're not too high on Stroud?
No. I know Ron is. Ron's on the line.
Really?
I don't mind Stroud. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback or that he's not going to be efficient or, but do I think he's on the same level? Personally, I don't yet. And I'm open-minded to it, if I see it. But do I think he's on the same level? I don't.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think Stroud's going to be the best rookie quarterback this year. That's my opinion. It differs from what Smitty thinks.
I think he's the most NFL-ready quarterback, of this class.
Yeah, I mean,
Not saying that I don't think Young might overtake him at some point, but as far as this year goes, I think Stroud will be the best rookie performer this year.
Yeah. Garrett saying Charbonnet ADP is 100. What is his ADP on here? What? I don't think it's at 100. Maybe it is. I don't know. But the problem is, bro, he's been getting sniped, and in this particular build, I kind of need it. And I wouldn't do that in a normal draft setting. And like I said earlier, Garrett, I don't know if your ears were clogged, but I said in a one-off situation, it's okay, just as long as people aren't drafting Olave every single time there. I just told you, Speedy ended up with a phenomenal team. But if Speedy's going to end up drafting Olave there every time, it's going to become a problem. So to do things in one-off situations aren't bad. And not to mention, we're talking about the 6th and 7th round. You really complaining about 6th and 7th and 8th round ADP? That's so much further down the track. That's not a big deal, bro. Taking somebody a round or two ahead in a 6th round territory is not the same as taking somebody at 12 overall. Like, it's very, very, very different. Like me taking Mingo, I took Mingo. Mingo was down there a ways, but I need a wide receiver very badly. And I thought it was a very, very smart pick for me to go Cooper Kupp, Dotson, Mingo. Because I'm going pretty light on my number wide receiver 2 and 3. So I reached a little bit on Mingo. But overall, are you really going to say this team looks like it's been affected by my reaching tactics? Burrow, Breece Hall, Walker, Charbonnet, Kamara, Cooper Kupp, Jahan Dotson, Jonathan Mingo, and Kyle Pitts? I don't think so, bro. That's a really good squad. Really good squad. But appreciate your super chat, Garrett. Yeah. So Harris, it depends on what you get, bro. You get Gibbs or one of those quarterbacks. In my view, I think it's a smash. I'm just not huge on Stroud, but Stroud will be okay for you if you're desperate at quarterback. Like that's better than nothing, bro. It's better than going out there in the Baker Mayfield and not working out, and then you have nobody. Like Stroud's a starter, but is he a fantasy football monster? I just don't get that vibe at all, bro. I don't think he's going to be a fantasy football monster. But you know what? In fairness, I wasn't sure what to make of Fields. I was hot and cold on Fields. There were times where I did not like Fields. I didn't think Fields would necessarily translate because I didn't think Chicago was going to set him up for success, and they did not. But he escaped. You know, he did get banged up, but he escaped any kind of crazy, season-ending injury for the most part. And I really think Fields turned my mind around. So could Stroud? Sure, I'm open-minded to it, bro. I'm very open-minded to it. I'm not against Stroud. I just don't see it right now. I see Bryce Young being magical on the field. I see Anthony Richardson defying logic from a physical perspective. He's just a specimen. The most athletic player, not just quarterback, player to ever come out of the combine. So there's reasons to envision him running the ball in this with the same coach that really took Hurts and turned Hurts into what Hurts became. So it's like now you've got a guy that's sculpted Hurts now going over to sculpt the similar player. It's it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have Anthony Richardson over Bryce Young?
I've gone back and forth. I really have. I like Young more, but from a fantasy football perspective, the amount of running that Anthony Richardson's going to do, I guess I would lean Richardson if I was on the clock in fantasy, but I'll be rooting for and liking Bryce Young better. They can coexist, fantasy production and, it's not like he can't be, an elite running quarterback and passing quarterback, just like. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. I'll take Sky Moore here. I think he could definitely evolve in the same capacity, be an elite quarterback in the NFL, be an elite fantasy quarterback, whereas Stroud could be a very efficient, good quarterback, but I don't know. It'll be one of those rare quarterbacks that is good in football, but not like elite in fantasy. Like in my opinion, my early take on it. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but that's kind of my vibe. You know, I think.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. I was wrong about, Fields for the most part. Early on, I did not feel like he was going to turn into what he did. But, hey, man, it's all about adjusting and adapting. You can't hit everything from the inception. From everybody's trying to be first on it. Like, oh, I was there when he was born. I was the one that caught Anthony, Richardson. I was the one that caught him. He was falling out of the womb, and I'm the one that caught him. Like sometimes you're a little late, but it doesn't matter.
We know now, Smitty.
You know now what?
We know. Now, you said at first you weren't on field, and it took you a while to come around field. So you definitely have something against those Ohio State quarterbacks.
No, I don't. I don't have any. I never hold team against player.
Crowd.
No, I never hold team against.
I
never hold. Yeah, but I never. I just want to make it clear. I never hold team against player, ever. I know a lot of people do that. Play that game. No, I know. I'm just clarifying though that I don't play that game. I know a lot of people do. And it's a crazy game to play, in my opinion. When people do that, like as if.
I've done that.
Yeah, as if you can't overcome those obstacles. Like you got to look at the whole totality of it all. If you can pinpoint team, sabotaging players' success at the NFL, you can maybe draw some conclusions if you can prove it to me, and you could say, "Hey, it's this scheme," and you prove that scheme sets the quarterback up for failure. They hit the NFL. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to do that. That makes logical sense. But when you see a player, do things that is outside of that whole, like, okay, this is a scheme that doesn't work at the NFL. You see someone like Bryce Young navigating on the fly, and then you blame team on it. I don't like that. But I could see it happening with a certain situation. But I never saw that with Ohio State. I didn't feel that way with Ohio State. I mean, maybe we've talked about it at one point or another, like questioning it. Like, is this a thing? I mean, that's human nature. But I'm not a big like I loved Christian Watson. I love Christian Watson coming out of college. And people said small school, Trey Lance's school. He's not going to translate. He's just, what about Randy Moss? What about a bunch of different, players that played in small school, small situations, and I just don't. If the talent's there, the talent's there. But what the small school can do is make a team pass on a player, or a small school can make the draft capital so low that the player doesn't work out. But if the player has high draft capital with a small school doesn't matter anymore. As long as the eye test is passed, and they did very well at the combine to support your eye test, like Christian Watson. Christian Watson passed my eye test like with flying colors, and I loved the kid. I wanted him to be paired with Trey because I thought that would have been a good pairing. Thank God he didn't go to San Francisco, because San Francisco would have ruined him. They didn't even play Danny Gray. They didn't even use Danny Gray. They spent, what was it, a second-round pick on him? Didn't even use him. Complete waste. Like, what a debacle. Probably have no intention of using him this year. Anyway.
Back to the good old San Francisco.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons to talk about them when they're always in the news about this stuff. And it's all controversial. It's not like, that's the one thing. The reason we talk about them a lot is because there's a lot of negative impact that happens, fantasy-wise. Not just like, oh, this is my team, or it's not my team. I'm not a Niner fan at all. I'm a Cardinal fan, same division, so I'm anything but a Niner fan. But I have a lot of Niner followers. I respect them greatly. Oh, man. I don't know what to do here, Ron. I was so tempted to go Trey. But is he even going to get a fair shot? And then even if I got Trey, and let's say I went back and got Purdy later, Sam Darnold could be the starter. The way this thing's rolling, it's just like, it's ridiculous. 12-team PPR, I take James Cook in round 7 for running back 2. James Cook? Is that Jay Cook? I'm sure that's what he means. Jay Cook in round 7 as a running back 2. Usually when I start with a QB, running back, 3 wide receivers, too high. I would say too high. Look at the suggested rank, but James Cook isn't a guy I'm targeting at all. Damian Harris is in the picture. They rotate, their RBs. They don't use them the same as other teams. I don't know that I'm very keen on him being my running back 2. Maybe like my 4th running back, but not my running back 2, bro. Not at all. Not at all. I don't like that one single bit. Not one single bit. So I'll probably go Trey here, I guess. I'm rooting for Trey so bad, I just think he's set up for failure. I don't even know. There was a comment today, wasn't there, from Shanahan that says something like, we'll see if Trey can close the gap before Purdy comes back, which was a nice vote of confidence. Is that what anybody confirm that? I think I did read that today. I've been out of the studio for most of the day today. I had to take care of a bunch of different things. But I'm pretty sure that was said. Can anybody confirm that? No? Anybody in the chat? Ken Walker is still going to be BBQ chicken this year. I usually get Harris too, says who's that Gator. Don't waste a pick on Trey. Well, it's important to get a backup, bro. Let's go. Love being on Smitty's team. Trey says, yeah, let's hope he... Bro, I'm a big supporter of Trey. I don't know if you know that. It's not about me being negative on Trey. It's about me being negative on that situation. But I think you know the situation, the situations.
We know you're a big Trey guy. A supporter.
We've never seen Trey Lance play with Christian McCaffrey. We've seen Brock Purdy play with Christian McCaffrey. If Brock Purdy didn't have Christian McCaffrey in that lineup, we wouldn't know Brock. We wouldn't be talking about Brock Purdy's name right now. I think Brock Purdy is pretty overrated. I like him. He's got a lot of upside, but and he did show poise. But at the end of the year, if you watched carefully, he very much was getting figured out, and that happens to any quarterback. It's not just Brock, but it showed that he was human. It showed that really his offense was amazing. But the thing is, he isn't an amazing offense, so that's not going to change. So there's a reason to like whoever's under center. But, who's the starter? I don't know. You almost need to own both of them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I had to reach on that one because I was about to time out because I was talking too much. I had to just take somebody. I was scanning through. I don't even know how early I took him. I agree with you, Smitty. He is set up to fail. I agree. Unfortunately.
I worked hard to get that combination, Smitty, in that one Dynasty League.
Yeah. Amon-Ra or A.J. Brown. That's a tough one. I probably lean Amon-Ra, believe it or not, just because of and I know St. Brown was the injured one last year, so it makes almost no sense to cite injury, but I do believe A.J. Brown's knees are more concerning than Amon-Ra's injuries from last year and the likelihood of him getting hurt this year. But that's me. I could be completely wrong. Is Sam Darnold 100%, says Grant? That's the problem, that's a lot of people feel that way. We don't know what's going to happen. Sam Darnold hanging out with all the veterans. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, James Cook at number 2 running back. No, who dat Gator. I'm not signing off on that. Smitty disapproved. Not you, but the idea disapproved.
Yeah, when Sam Darnold first came out and everything, he reminded me of Bo Callahan. You get Bo.
You know who Sam Darnold reminds me of? I hate to say this, and maybe he works out and I look dumb after, but I feel like Levis and Darnold are similar. Like, such high hopes for Levis. Darnold, such high hopes. People were like, Darnold's going to be amazing. I remember getting a lot of heat for not liking Darnold. I remember when he was a rookie, incoming rookie, he's going to be the best quarterback you're going to see. There's a lot of supporters for Sam Darnold. And even after year 1, there were a lot of people that were on board. But I feel like Levis is very similar. Levis, there's something about Levis I just don't. That reminds me of Bo Callahan. Levis.
Bo Callahan.
Levis to me acts like he's I don't know.
Josh
Like
Rosen?
somebody on steroids.
Yeah, Josh Rosen,
somebody
too.
on steroids.
Doesn't he remind you of Josh Rosen? Like very arrogant, hasn't proven a single thing yet. You know, losing his job and how he looked when they were losing before he lost his job. The attitude he had on him. The Cardinals go and get Kyler. You know, not much of a different person and attitude. But Levis, when he wasn't drafted, I felt bad for him, and ESPN did him dirty. They kept like going to him and they kept saying the odds of him not getting taken this round are. They just kept going with it. But you know, he seems so arrogant. He seems so arrogant, and I don't mind arrogance in my quarterback, but like you got to prove yourself first before you're arrogant, you know. And like I like arrogance in a quarterback. I love how Aaron Rodgers is arrogant, but he backs it up. Like regardless of anybody want to come in here and shoot him down and say, "Oh, he loses in the," like Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. You know, so everybody can say what they want about him losing the playoffs. And if he wins the Super Bowl this year with a different team, there's going to be a lot of people talking about, you know, how amazing he is again, and not bringing up the negative, you know, win percentage in deep playoff games or whatever. Levis is trash. Red flags. The banana video and the mayo and yeah, you know what? That's true. I mean, like the mayo and coffee is weird. Just straight weird. Mayo and coffee. Does anybody else put mayo and coffee? Is that like a thing, or is that just
Yeah, but that's not as weird. I don't think that's as weird as eating the banana with the peel on it still.
Yeah, someone said that was a joke. He said the banana thing was a joke.
I mean
but still, it's weird.
Mayonnaise mostly it's just fat, and I mean it's almost like heavy whipping cream, the same type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just adds that taste. Maybe he just likes the mayonnaise taste with coffee. I mean, chocolate and peanut butter go together. Maybe mayonnaise and coffee go together. I don't know. I've never tried it.
Yeah, he's just very arrogant to me.
Hey, Smitty, one last thing for me, then I got to go. What do you think about C.J. Stroud's his S2 cognition test results? He scored like historically all-time low.
Yeah, what was his retake score?
I know his first one was 18%, but I'm not sure what his retake was.
I mean, I have to find the actual, like, here for sure what his retake score was. But, I mean, it's not a great... It's, like, here's the thing, like... It's not so much that it should make you run. But, like, if you're in my situation, this is what I always tell people about scouting, and I've been doing this from my perspective of scouting. Like, you know, scouting for fantasy, scouting every NFL draft since 2002. You know, from a professional perspective on CBS and NBC Sports Radio for 19 straight years, breaking down rookies, predictions, the NFL draft. So it's not like, you know, some people say, oh, I'm a quote unquote expert, but they have nothing to show for it. Nothing. They created an Instagram. It's great. And, you know, it's inspiring that people like create content and stuff, but like you have to have some sort of track record to actually call yourself an analyst or an expert, you know, and so doing literally scout, like looking at this stuff for 20 years prior to going even on YouTube. I feel like I have a good grasp on what makes a good rookie prospect, what looks good to me, what's a good riser, like what's a good situation for this guy and not for that guy. And my one advice to anybody who's looking at something from like a scouting perspective or lens is, don't let the combine change your mind or create some new idea. Don't let some test change your mind or create some new idea. But when you already feel a certain way about a player, just like the preseason should do nothing but accent what you already know and feel. So it's like an accoutrement, or it's like some sort of topping off of your already good feeling about a player. So when I already have questions about Stroud, personally, and you hear something like that, it helps confirm a little bit for me to go in the direction I was going, but does not mean I would have just gone that direction if I liked him. Had Bryce Young got a low score, I probably would have concerned me enough to back down and shove Anthony Richardson into the 1 spot, but it wouldn't have had me say I'm walking away from this kid. But when I sit here and go, this kid's the best cognitive decision maker on the field that I've seen since Patrick Mahomes. And honestly, he's further along than Mahomes was in his current state coming out of the pros. Mahomes was liked, but Mahomes was not the top prospect like Bryce Young. So, this kid is an absolute phenom, in the making. And I think, hold on, let me just grab. He's an absolute phenom in the making. And when he is already mesmerizing me in terms of his processing abilities, like a computer out there, the split decisions he makes and the way that he processes the game and extends a play. And then you hear he's in the 97th, he's in the top 3%. He was the number 1 scorer, but he got a 97% on that test. That tells me all I need to know. That's like double stamping what I already considered to be, a lock. So that's all I'll say is that the score itself isn't a big deal. It's what is it coupled with and what did I already think about the guy? And like in terms of these tests in general though, Brett Favre was one of the worst on the what was the test they used to do? Was it the Wonderlick or whatever? Brett Favre Brett Favre scored like a really low score on that, and he had an amazing football IQ. So you can't just use it. That's like the 40 time, the combine. If a player runs an amazing 40 time and you didn't even have him in your top 10 wide receivers and you put him at 3, that's casual. That's casual stuff right there. That's rookie mistakes as a fantasy football owner or an analyst. You're going to let a 40 time make you turn a guy that wasn't in your top 10 into a top 5 prospect. Rookie mistake. Absolute casual. But if you love Christian Watson or you love Anthony Richardson, and everybody's doubting him, and you're like, no, I see it. And they go out and blow the combine up like Christian Watson did. It's just an accent on what you already thought was, a big deal. So that's what I would say about that. So it just, for me, it kind of confirms that, maybe he's not in my top 2 quarterbacks. Doesn't mean I hate him. Doesn't mean he can't overcome it. Doesn't mean he can't have a great football IQ, and he's just bad at taking a test. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually good at taking tests now, but when I was early on, when I went to school when I was younger for my undergrad, I was bad at taking tests. I was horrible at taking tests. I got better at it for some reason. I don't know. I can concentrate more, but I was horrible at taking tests, and it was not a good representation of my mental, intelligence. It wasn't my processing. I was a better processor than that, but I didn't appear to be. So I feel for him. Those tests are crazy, especially when you're young.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but just definitely something to think about. Just because it's so low, it's like, damn, is he really that slow?
Yeah. Yeah, he scored. What was it? It was. Let me see if there's an update. Does anybody have the update on his second test? Did they even reveal it? I think they didn't reveal it. I think they just said it was a much improved score. But we never really heard what it was, which was kind of disappointing because if it was actually improved, it would have helped him. Part of me wonders if it's not that much better, or they would have released it to kind of resolve those feelings. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you release it if it was if it was in the 70% range? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, all right, Smitty.
All right, later, bro.
See you.
Appreciate you. Rock out. What's up? You're live.
Yeah, can I give you a rundown my team?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Sam Howell at QB.
Like it.
And running back. And then running back, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Charbonnet, Chase Brown, timed out on 4 from Cleveland.
I like it.
And then
Bijan,
Wide
Walker,
receiver.
Charbonnet, Kamara, Burrow. Okay, Burrow, Bijan, Walker, Alvin Kamara, Charbonnet. Okay, what are the wide receivers?
Chris Olave, Morris Pickens,
Smoked it, bro.
Jameson Williams.
Woo, woo. I love the Jameson Williams pick in that with that team too. You smoked it, bro.
Mingo.
Let me get. You got Kincaid too. You got Kincaid too, you little rascal. I can smell it.
Then got Mingo, Sky Moore, and Downs. And then at tight end, I got Pitts, Hayden Hurst, and Jelani Woods.
Nice. That's really good, bro. You crushed it. Burrow, Bijan, Walker, Charbonnet, Kamara, Olave, Jameson Williams, and who's your other wide receiver?
Mingo, Sky Moore, and Downs.
Yeah, that's good, bro. You did a real good job. Pretty good though, Ron, huh?
He didn't get Burrow though.
He what?
He didn't stack with Burrow though. He has nobody to go with Burrow.
Yeah. That's a good team, man.
Yeah.
You couldn't have gotten like Irv Smith or Boyd or anything. I mean, just a little piece to give Burrow a little company.
Oh, man, I timed out.
Rock out.
Rock out, he's talking to you. Hello? Did you fall asleep in the middle of your draft?
Rock out. He says, "Screw you, Rod Davey. I'm hanging up on you."
He did hang up. He did hang up.
I know. He's like, "Screw you, Rod Davey. I'm hanging up on you."
I liked it, Rock out. Come back. I liked it.
No, I mean that was a nice put together
Sure, Ron.
team he had. I was surprised. I didn't like Kamara, if I'm honest. But I don't like Kamara, but he got Walker and he got Charbonnet. That's awesome.
Ron sharded all over his team.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I just wondered why he couldn't pick up a piece for.
Ron,
Burrow.
if you're not gonna say something nice about Rockout's team,
I've been doing that lately. I've just been like.
here he is.
Yeah,
Rockout.
I think it's this. I think I suck at Dynasty so bad that I've just been like being mean to people lately.
Rockout. What do you think about Ron Navy's criticisms? Welcome back.
I mean, it's fair. It was like a big run, like tight end in like one of the rounds when I was playing. I was actually looking at Irv Smith. It just didn't fall that way.
I'm not as big on the stacking as Ron. I do think it's advantageous when it makes sense. I've made it very, very clear. There's a lot of arguments. There's a lot of data against and for stacking. Like the truth of the matter is stacking was developed, everybody did it from the beginning of time of fantasy because you loved the connection of the double touchdowns. But in redraft, there's no real advantage. Like when people say you stack, you don't.
But
right.
I agree with you. Not in redraft, but
right.
best ball. It's been shown. I mean, stacking's the way to go in week 17 correlation.
Right, but but a lot of people. But a lot of people try and tie it into redraft now, and the truth of the matter is, it was in a it's from a DFS setting. Stacking was developed in a DFS setting because essentially you're trying to eliminate the odds of variance, and when you're trying to project 7 different players, let's say, to be the highest scorers, your odds are extremely low comparatively to when in DFS, daily fantasy, you pick the one team. That means your daily fantasy and best ball are different. Daily fantasy is when you're playing just one day. So who are the players playing in that one day? And you do a draft of players playing in that one day. So this came from like baseball or whatever, basketball. You could even say like on Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, you're going to stack everybody on the team you think is going to score the most amount of points. Or if you're doing a morning slate of best ball or of daily fantasy, and you're only doing that morning slate, and so you have like, let's say, 8 teams to choose from, you're probably better off taking players all from one team that you think is going to blow up, and then your variance is lower. So like DFS was the really the backbone of stacking, and why stacking was most important. Then people kind of pulled it into best ball, and there is something too, there's a lot of data to support that stacking, the teams that win have this stack. But there's also data that goes against it and says that like your odds of things going negatively for you are also present that aren't looked at when a lot of people look at the data and they say stacking's the only way to go. Well, there are still scenarios where it's really bad for you. So it just depends. So stacking, that's why I say to people, stacking is important when it makes sense. But if people force stacking, like you'll literally take Ritter instead of a better quarterback just because you have London, that's where I think people make a grave mistake. Like and I don't force stacking. There's times where I walk out and I don't have a single stack, but I don't fear like this team has no shot. I still took the best players, and there's still that crazy combination of things that got to happen for you anyway. And Joe Burrow could throw all of his touchdowns to T. Higgins, during the final 3 weeks of the fantasy football season into the playoffs. Joe Burrow could rush for touchdowns. Jamar Chase could get injured, and then you know what I mean. So it's like it's vital when it makes sense, when you're picking very good players and you're not downgrading your opportunities just to stack. And I know you're not saying that, Ron, but I just want to clarify for people that are curious about it, like why Smitty is stacking always the best. No. Like a lot of people say that too in the industry, like stack no matter what, always stack. Like stack if it fits, if it works out well, stack. But should you take AJ Brown at 4 overall, because you're going to get hurt, so your next pick? I don't know that I just buy into that. I'm not just going to do that. Is it a fun approach once in a while? Sure. But I just think people force it, and they don't explain the negatives of stacking. There are negatives of stacking. You can't just assume that, like, what if the team does bad? Then you have zero shot. But if you don't stack Joe Burrow to Higgins and you take a different wide receiver instead of Higgins, I still may score more points than anybody in the 3 weeks when it matters most. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you with that, but I mean, it's like when I stack, I don't force stack. I take the players that come to me.
Well, but I guess the reason I said that, and I'm not Ron. It's it's definitely strategy and preference too. So like but like but when you're saying you didn't stack those guys, it's like, well, I don't know that it's necessarily a negative. Is all I'm saying. Like just because he didn't stack anybody.
I like to have a piece. Like if I have let's say I got 3 quarterbacks, I want a piece. I try, if they follow me, I want a piece for every quarterback.
Yeah, if it makes sense, I agree.
I might want a receiver, 2 wide receivers. That's still a stack. Or I might want a running back and a receiver from one team. That's still a stack.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a quarterback and a receiver, or a quarterback and a receiver and a running back. It's more to that. So
I love the Hurts.
Ken.
I love the Hurts and Swift stack because it doesn't have to be a wide receiver. A lot of people think that it has to be. It doesn't. It's more about the offense. It's more about the offense going off.
In this draft, I was thinking about, I had Garrett Wilson, so I took Rodgers with him, and I picked up Lazard because Lazard was right there when I took him in his ADP. So, but then I had Christian Watson, and I was thinking, oh well, I'll get Love with Watson. Well, Love went off right before I wanted to pick, so I took Carr, and then later on down there I got a piece with Carr. So, and then I got other pieces. I got Reed.
If it makes sense, it makes sense. But see, I wouldn't even pick Reed. But I wouldn't pick Reed. So like I wouldn't force it. That's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't.
No, Reed fell to me.
Yeah. This was a reach fest. Alex Cruz, you're live.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the stack thing. It's like, yeah, it's like when it's to me, it's like a kind of high risk, high reward type of play because if it works out, I mean, great. But like you're not the probability. It's all probability, right? And when you're not betting on, okay, is this quarterback going to throw X number of touchdowns? Throw a touchdown. It's
Scotty, I'm going to hang up on you. Hold on a second, Alex. Scotty, mute your phone. We got some weird reverb. It's not your fault. Sometimes the speakerphone just cycles it through. So just
You want
mute
me to
it.
call back?
Just mute real quick. We'll talk to you when you're unmuted,
Oh.
but just mute real quick. Thanks. Go ahead, Alex.
It's like you're not betting on like, oh, this quarterback could throw X number of touchdowns a game or this or that. He's going to throw touchdowns. It's all about touchdowns, right? To this specific player, more than kind of you would, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have to be a significant amount of times that they'd have to connect for it to work out.
Yeah, let me
You know
put
what
it
I'm
this
saying?
way. Let me put it this way. I draft Burrow, okay? I know I'm drafting Burrow. Like let's say you're drafting in reverse or whatever. A lot of people would take Higgins over Olave. A lot of people would take Higgins over, like Garrett Wilson or something because they want that stack. And to me, there's 0% chance I'm going to do that. I'm not taking Higgins over Olave. I'm not doing it. I don't care about the stack at the end of the day when I believe Olave in the 3 weeks we're talking. So you get through week 14, okay, and you go into week 15. I believe enough in Olave in weeks 15, 16, and 17, the air yardage master that's going to absolutely go nuts and have an unbelievable season, that I'm not going to sit here and be worried about Joe Burrow throwing to Higgins and scoring 6 touchdowns in 3 games when I'm essentially saying that I think Olave is going to get outscored by Higgins in all 3 of those games or in 2 of the games or whatever. I don't feel that way. So, like, do I stack when I can? Absolutely. But I don't go looking for it to a degree where I'm sacrificing talent. Like, will I take a Boyd?
Yeah,
I'll take Boyd like almost 8 or 9 times out of 10 in any draft where I draft Burrow. And I've been grabbing Charlie Jones, Scott Hansen's favorite, deep sleeper, in like the 18th round if I get really deep and there's no wide receiver. Like that's a smart move because I already like Boyd enough, and then that stack makes sense and it's very doable and it sacrifices nothing because Boyd's always available. But would I ever pass on a better player for a stack? The answer is no. The answer is no.
What you're doing is you're saying, okay, this player, you're hoping that he scores so many more touchdowns. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has to significantly score more touchdowns, which is a very, like, random thing. It's a bad bet kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah. Again, people measure the good, but you don't often see a lot of people spitting out data on the bad. Like, maybe the winner a lot of the time has a stack. But is that really because they stacked, or is some of that because Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are on the best offense, or one of the best offenses in the National Football League? Is A.J. Brown and Hurts, they're in one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the National Football League, and people do like to stack and hook that up and make that a fun stack. That doesn't necessarily mean that, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you're not seeing the other stacks always win these big leagues. I mean, sometimes they do, but I think a lot of times it's weird. You're correlating some. It's not so definitive, and on top of that, it's like I said, there's a lot of negative to it too. Maybe a guy can win it stacking it the right way, but he gets the right combination of players with it, and that's all part of it. But it's like, how many teams invest heavily in a stack and the quarterback goes down and you have a 0 shot, whereas if you had it divided up a little bit, if you had Aaron Rodgers that could come in, and like, you're not stuck to Chase now being, like if you were to go Jamar Chase, if you were to go Joe Burrow And instead of Higgins, we'll use Olave and Higgins because that's one of the scenarios where I've seen people do it. They take Higgins over Olave just because they want to stack. If Joe Burrow went down and you got Aaron Rodgers step up, you still got Olave and Rodgers. You still got Olave and whoever your quarterback is. Whereas if Joe Burrow went down, Higgins is going to go flatline.
And yeah, exactly. And it's like you're saying, oh, I'm going to get this stack because they're on the same team, and he could throw a touchdown to him, which would be super valuable. But, I mean, there's plenty of players that can catch the touchdown or rush the touchdown in. Like, Higgins could go a long time without catching the touchdown. Like, it's like it's a bad bet. Like, it's like they're like enchanted with the possibility of the stack, but it's like
another reason
any more like, you know, probable that it's gonna happen. Like, he's gonna score a whole bunch of touchdowns because he's on your fantasy with the quarterback.
Another
you gotta hedge your bet because you know what different like quarterbacks what they do pretty much every year. You know, Allen's gonna throw for over 30 touchdowns. He's gonna run for 4 or 5 touchdowns. You know, Jalen Hurts is going to run for like 9 touchdowns on the normal or somewhere like around there and throw for 20-some touchdowns. And so and with the receivers, especially you got to look at your scoring system. Is the PPR, is it half PPR? And then so every catch counts. It's not just touchdowns. So if you get a back or a running back or receiver that gets a lot of volume and gets a lot of catches, those all add up. It's not just about touchdowns. The yardage counts, the touchdowns. I mean, you got JJ out there. He's on a high offense. So you're looking at like putting high octane offense players that have a really good chance than not to get you
but
points.
But here's the
part.
But here's the part that a lot of people don't discuss because maybe the data shows that this guy won and he had a stack. But again, a lot of people have stacks because they're picking high octane offenses. But to sit here and I'm not saying you're saying this, Ron, I'm saying if anybody is, to sit here and say that if I took Jamar Chase and Jalen Hurts over Jamar Chase and Burrow, that I'd be making a grave mistake is totally discrediting Jalen Hurts. No, I know you're not saying it, but people say this, so I'm not saying you.
No,
right. So I'm not speaking.
I'm taking a lot of it over too. I agree.
I know,
with that
but again, I'm just Ron. I'm not speaking to you. I'm just saying it in general. That a lot of people will say to me that if you take Jalen Hurts and Chase instead of Burrow and Chase, you're setting yourself up for a lesser situation. But who's to say that Joe Burrow, even when Chase balls out and they have an amazing 3 games in a row, weeks 15, 16, and 17, that Jalen Hurts isn't outscoring Burrow in all 3 of those games? Like, it's not about stacking players as much as it is having high-octane, consistent offenses, and that's all I'm trying to say. And what I was saying earlier and why I even got into this is that it's spilling over into redraft. And I have people constantly telling me that Smitty, it's better to stack and redraft. It's not better to stack and redraft. It can be fun. And if you're picking a high-octane offense, if you're taking Swift and Hurts, you're banking on the offense. It is not really the stack. It's the consistency of the offense. If you're taking Chase and Burrow, I very much love it. I very much love it in redraft, and I like stacking that. But part of the lure is because the Bengals are not going to have very many bad games, and Jamar Chase is going to be probably number 1 in targets per game. And so, so like that's all I'm saying is in redraft, it's all about offense. It's all about offense. It has nothing to do with the actual stack itself. In best ball, there's a huge correlation to having stacks and having success, but there's also a huge correlation to having complete massive disasters by having a stack. And nobody talks about that. Whereas the people that don't do that can still play ball because if, let's say, the quarterback goes down, they don't just have instead of having Higgins, they had Olave.
Well,
To
your point, Smitty. To your exact point. We know what my team last year made the finals, and I had the stack, right? I had Burrow, I had Higgins, and I had Knox. and in that 17 game Cincinnati game and Buffalo game, and it got canceled, and that pretty much kept me out of the big money because I had the stacks in that game, and that game was canceled. If I might have had other players, I might have got the big money. So, yeah, stacks can hurt you just as much as they can help you.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it's more about that Chase is on a great offense. And
Yeah.
that Burrow is on a great offense. Then they're just stacked together. Like, it doesn't matter if they're stacked together. They're both on a great offense.
I would
You know
love
what I'm
to.
saying? It's like,
I would love to see data of Hurts and Chase versus Burrow and Chase. And you guys are hearing it from the biggest Burrow supporter on the planet. But Josh Allen and Hurts and Chase, and the actual data behind how that is getting annihilated by the stack. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stack's so important because there are a few offenses that, I'm not saying stacks aren't good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's more about the offense than it really is the stack, in my opinion. And I have no qualms at all having Hurts and Jefferson, you know, or Hurts and Jamar Chase, or Josh Allen and Jamar Chase versus having Burrow and Chase. I don't need Burrow and Chase. I do love them. But nobody talks about the negatives of a stack because there's negatives to it. Everyone just measures the upside.
We agree on redraft stuff. Best ball, I'm totally about the stack. I mean,
Yep.
I advanced
I know.
a lot of my teams last year. I did really well, and for me in best ball, I'm only talking best ball. It's all about getting a good stack.
and it comes
It's a
in,
good
the
correlation.
negatives come in when you're drafting. Because when somebody chooses, let's say, Jamar, and then later down the road, they say, could I pick Burrow right now, reach a little bit, or get a player next round, get a quarterback that's still pretty good? No, they'll go, like, some people will go for the stack, and you're, at that point, you're losing value. When you
No,
could
that's always
have had
true.
an upgrade player.
No,
Ben,
that's not true.
hold on one second.
You got to learn.
Let me
learn to pivot.
let me address
Going to get the stack that you.
let me address this real quick. Ben says Smitty, nobody's saying Hurts can't outscore Burrow, but they don't have the same price point. Ben, no one's gonna tell you that more than me, bro. Burrow is the biggest steal in fantasy football. I'm merely comparing the two if they were at the same price point. I'm merely comparing the difference between having this stack and that stack. There's no better player in fantasy football than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow falling to round 4 is win a league material. So that's why I use Joe Burrow to explain that the biggest Joe Burrow fan is telling you that if you could give me Hurts versus Burrow and have Chase, you're not at a bigger advantage having Burrow and Chase necessarily if you believe Jalen Hurts will outscore Burrow. That was my point. Of course, bro. This is what I say every day on the stream, every single day, Ben. Don't go after Josh Allen. Don't go after Mahomes. Don't go after Jalen Hurts. They're in round 2. Joe Burrow's the biggest smash. Go watch the video, Ben. I definitely take care of this point. I'm merely suggesting that if you take the players and compartmentalize them, people are making too much of that it has to be the stack. And in the case of ignoring like a Higgins for an Olave because of the stack, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense to grab like a Boyd, to grab a player that is efficient, cost efficient at the end of a draft that you do like, but you have to like the player. Like in the case of Reed, like Ron said, Reed, I don't like Reed. I'm not going to draft Reed just because I got the quarterback. I don't like Reed at all. Do I draft a wide receiver like Boyd though when I've got Burrow over somebody I like just as much? Yes, that's when stacking makes sense to me. Absolutely. But yeah, no, Burrow, you're not going to hear anybody talk about how Burrow is the only player you should be drafting at the quarterback position if he's falling to 4 or even the top of 5. Sometimes he falls to 5. That's a totally different argument and conversation. Yeah. Okay.
Like, can I give you another example?
And Copwatch says Smitty drafts Burrow at 29. Bro, Burrow in our draft, you can't even use our draft as an example, bro. This is Snipe City. You're going to come in here and say that I shouldn't be drafting Burrow at 29. You think Burrow's lasting past 32? I took him at 29 in this draft where we got Chris Olave going 13. We got Garrett Wilson going 10. We have Bijan going number 3. All these guys going at an insane value. It's like taking 8 players off the board when you get to the 3rd and 4th round. So I get what you're saying, but okay, I got to review these teams. Alex, real quickly. Actually, can we go to Scotty real quick? Scotty's been waiting. Scotty, go.
Yeah, man. I'm at work. I kind of just wanted to hear what you were talking about Kamara and Michael Thomas. Are they worth picking up in the later rounds, middle to the later rounds?
Mike Thomas and who?
Alvin Kamara. Is Michael Thomas a good pick in like round 7, round 8? And is Alvin
No.
Kamara a decent pick in round? No?
Alvin Kamara is, but Mike Thomas, I don't know. Watch the beginning of the show. I'm not saying I won't repeat some of it here, but you'll get a big, extensive breakdown of it at the top of the show. News is that Mike Thomas is getting hardware taken out of his foot. He's not healthy, but they're hopeful, and that they think, by week, by training camp, he should be good to go. But it's just a bunch of, coach speak, in my opinion. The guy's not healthy. He hasn't been healthy. He won't be healthy. 7th round would be an absolute monstrosity. Like, take him at the end of a draft, like in the teens, maybe. Take him at 7. There are a lot of good players around at 7, bro. A lot of good players. This guy's a walking injury. Alvin Kamara at about 7th to 8th to 9th round territory in best ball. He goes anywhere in that range. I've seen people take him early because they don't look at the ADP as a big, indicator as where they should take him. They just take him. I've seen him going 7, but he falls to round 8, round 9. And while there's a lot of risk, it's a home run, at least for me. There's not much risk involved at all. It's a smash.
Damn, yeah, I had Michael Thomas last year in the team that in the league that I won with Gustavo, and shit, I didn't get to play him all year, but luckily I was able to pick up Olave waivers in week 4. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, look at Garrett. Garrett never fails to swoop in with Mike Thomas talk. You know what? I think Garrett would super chat every single time Mike Thomas's name is mentioned. So we need more Mike Thomas calls. More Mike Thomas truthers. I'm hearing, Smitty, says Garrett. Thank you, Scotty, for that. I'll send you your 99 cents of that $2 later.
Are we gonna send me money?
Yeah, you brought it up. Garrett pays per Mike Thomas mention.
That's what I like to hear.
All right, Scotty, final thoughts, and then I got to get out of here. I got to review these teams.
No, you're good. I'm at work chilling, so I'm just enjoying your show, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Tell Gustavo what's up.
I will. I'll see him tomorrow.
Yeah, you guys still working separate shifts,
Scotty.
right? You're still working separate shifts, right?
Yeah, he works in the morning, and I'm working at nighttime.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Call in anytime, all right?
Man, you have a good night.
Later. Garrett said, thank you for the super chat, Garrett. Garrett said, stacking only hurts you if you're playing for anything but first. If you're playing to win, stacking is the only way to win. Everything has to hit. Again, Garrett, I've gone over my stance on this. I agree that when stacking is when you're paying the proper price for it all, it's the thing you should strive for sure, with high octane offenses. Not with situations where it's not a high octane situation. Like, that's what I'm saying. People have to be very careful when they give this stacking and best ball advice on that you should do it in almost all cases. And there are bad stacking situations that are not better than dividing up your risk. But when you're talking about a Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith or DeAndre Swift, that's an insane offense. And the likelihood of them having good games is astronomically high every single week. Joe Burrow, Higgins, Jamar Chase, it is a very amazing offense. And they're going to be even better this year. They've improved the offensive line So it just depends on the stack, though. Like, you can't just blanketly say stacking is the only way to win. There are plenty of people that stack and they take their team down the toilet because they've stacked the wrong way, or they stack just because they hear I got to go get the wide receiver, and then they sacrifice value. There are some drafts where I stack magnificently. Like, I'll take Hurts, I'll get Swift, I've got AJ Brown, and I love it, and it fit perfectly. Everything worked out well, and I feel really good about that team. And then there's other situations where, you know, you force it and you don't like it, you know. So it's not a blanket statement. That's what I'm trying to say. There's more to it than that. There's levels to it. There's definitely some ins and outs of it that people don't talk about, like how the data shows that a lot of people that win the big tournaments do have stacks, sure, but they also have high octane players. And if you swapped out Jalen Hurts and Burrow, what I'm saying is you might not see what you think you're going to see, is what I'm trying to tell you. And there's a lot of data against it too. There's not just like there's all this data of who wins. Stacking's the only way. There's a lot of anti-stacking data that where people have dug into it pretty well, saying this did develop from DFS and people carried it into best ball, and it is effective, but it's also, you know, sometimes miscategorized or used in a way that doesn't necessarily translate like everyone thinks it is. Appreciate you, Golf. Alex, final thoughts.
On that, like, for example, let's say someone drafts Kelsey, right? And then maybe a round or two goes by, and then Mahomes is screaming in their face, and their stack is screaming in their face, but there's a player that has fallen, right? And they say, and then they take Mahomes, right? When in the next round you can get a quarterback that's really good, and you could have chose a player right there that could have gave you a lot of value, and you lose value, and that's where people start to mess up, and they'll choose Kelsey and they'll choose a stack, for example. They'll choose Kelsey and then they'll choose Mahomes for the stack and then you lose value because you could potentially draft a player there and then get a quarterback in the next round or next 2 rounds.
So to your point, I'd rather have in what we were talking about earlier with Burrow, I'd rather have Olave at the end of round 2 instead of Mahomes and get Joe Burrow, even if I had Kelsey in round 1.
Exactly. But
that's my personal preference. Doesn't mean I won't stack in other places. Doesn't mean that you can't win with the Mahomes and Kelsey approach. It is a fantastic stack, but I'm still not passing up on the Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow typically, if it's outside of our community, will fall to the 4th round. So if we say Joe Burrow at 4.4 or whatever, instead of going Mahomes in round 2 and I took Kelsey in round 1, I'm not feeling like I'm dropping the ball whatsoever, because I'm getting, let's say I go Kelsey in round 1. I don't usually do that, but if I did and I pass on Mahomes, I get Olave, I get, whoever I'm going to get in round 3. Let's call it Jahmyr Gibbs and say we swing early on Jahmyr Gibbs, and then I go Joseph Cigar Smoking Burrow in round 4. I'm 100% fine with that, and I did not mess up not stacking Mahomes and Kelsey, because there's more to the team than Mahomes and Kelsey. That is a phenomenal stack, but Joe Burrow, in my opinion, in my estimation, is going to be balling out weeks 15, 16, and 17, and I have no doubt about that. Not to mention, what if the Kansas City Chiefs pack it in 2 weeks early? Because they're crushing everybody. Like, there's a lot of negatives you got to look at. Like Ron Navy said, if Ron Navy didn't have all of his eggs in the Cincinnati Bengal basket, he may have won a whole lot more money and gone a little further. Not saying that I don't try to have the stacks when it all makes sense. All I'm saying is there's some negatives to it that no one talks about. They just act like stacking, as if just running their mouth about stacking being the only way to go. You just got to stack. You don't stack, you got to always stack. You got to stack in crucial places. You got to stack smartly.
But it hardly happens where this is the perfect opportunity to stack. It hardly happens, right? And people think it happens more time than it actually does. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, They think that there's so many opportunities to stack where it's like, no, it's kind of hard to stack, really, if you're really going off true value.
I don't force it.
It's easy. It's actually really easy.
Yeah.
If you know the players you value, on just without thinking about stacking. If you know the players that you value highly and you're drafting them accordingly, it is very easy to stack.
I don't think so.
It's very easy to stack. I mean, when Smitty reads my team, not every single player is a stacked player, but I have at least 3 teams on the team I just drafted that I have stacks with.
All right, hey guys, I gotta get running here. So, final thoughts, Alex, on a different topic or anything else, and then I gotta hit the super chat, and then I gotta jump out of here.
No, go ahead. No, I'm good.
You got anything else?
Thanks, Smitty.
Hey, call in anytime, Alex. We like when you call in. Late night crew, appreciate it. How's everything going, by the way?
Good.
You in school?
Good.
Are you in school? Out of school?
Yeah. I graduated.
Congrats.
I'm going to be working TSA and some.
Woo!
Might be joining the Guard.
Woo!
Might be joining the Air National Guard or the Air Force Reserve team.
Hey,
Nice.
appreciate that. Appreciate your service in
That's
advance,
awesome.
my man.
Awesome.
They're heavily considering it.
We'll start calling you Sergeant. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex,
Yep.
if you do that when you go in and you're doing your thing, make sure you keep your medical records, keep copies of everything for how many ever years you decide to do it. You're going to need that history if you got to deal with the VA or whatever. So make sure that you go down that road and keep all your documents. All right.
Yes, sir.
Alex, appreciate you.
Yep.
Call in anytime later. All right, Ron Navy, final thoughts. And then Sergio, let me hit this real quick, Ron. Hold on one second. Sergio, $20 hauler, first super chat ever. Sergio, we're gonna make it rain for you. Appreciate you, Sergio.
Mashed potatoes.
Sergio in the house. Appreciate you, Serge. What do you think of Cole Kmet in Dynasty? I like him a lot in redraft, and I don't think that Dynasty changes my mindset too much. So yeah, I like him in Dynasty as well. I think he's outside the top 7, ranking, but I feel like he's one of my X Factor wild card tight ends that could get into the top 5 because every year somebody outside of I think he might even be around 8 or 9, isn't he? So, he's one of those wild card outside. Maybe he's out of the top 10. Let me go to the rankings here. And let me see here. Cole Kmet is tight end. Wow, he's so far down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Tight end 14. He fully fits the profile of one of the potential top 5 tight end sleeping giants that is sleeping outside of the top 10. I would say number 1 is Kincaid. I think he'll be a top 10 tight end, a top 5 tight end, and he's outside the top 10. I think Okonkwo's got a shot, but I don't like his situation, but he's so talented. Kmet is definitely a guy. Freiermuth is outside the top 10 now, so he clearly qualifies. Those are probably my top options outside the top 10 that it could be a top 5 guy. So absolutely love Cole Kmet, and Fields loves him too. So Sergio, appreciate your super chat. Thank you so much. All right, Ron, final thoughts.
Hey, what's that red bag you got sitting over there on the side there on your camera that you're showing?
These are
Mashed potatoes.
these are on the YouTube. TheFantasyFootballShow.com backpacks. You can get these on the YouTube store. Just click on store. Click on store, and these are nice little bags. I got this full of Grindhouse shirts. But yeah, these are awesome. It's a laptop bag. So just click on the store button.
Yeah, it looks like a nice bag.
Yeah.
Dude. I like
anybody
that.
wants one of those, just cop one on the store.
Sit there and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, if you go
I have to go on there and order.
If you go here, so this is where you guys can become YouTube exclusive members. You click the join button or you click on memberships. Right next to it to the right is store. See store? And if you're on mobile, there's a store button right next to this membership just look to the right store. So if anybody wants to order a bag, the backpack, they're there. But yeah, they're nice. They're not even like, I thought, okay, I wonder what the quality is going to be like. They're phenomenal. The only thing that wasn't great quality from the current store, that manufacturer that I work with, were the hats. And so I discontinued the hats right away after I ordered a couple. And I'm going to Grindhouse. Grindhouse is making the hats. They're going to put an actual badge or patch. And they're going to hopefully be on both sides. We're working out the prototype. But it's got a patch. It's an actual patch on there, like a thick patch that's got the, the threading and all that. So it's going to be awesome.
A Grindhouse hat will fit me. The other stuff,
yeah,
we already know.
These shirts we'll be giving away a few of these throughout the year. These were the Grindhouse. These are really cool. These are the Grindhouse times Smitty, the fantasy football show. So on the front it has Grindhouse times Smitty, the fantasy football show, and then on the back it's got the Frankenstein a poster board. So it's pretty cool. This is like a family business that had a lot, and then they have a lot of these posters that they have from the old movies, and so they decided to turn it into a shirt company. So that's why they got all these awesome old movie posters, and they just put them on shirts, and it's awesome. All right, guys.
The first ones you got didn't have your face on there, right? They just started putting your on there.
Well, we give away a lot of their shirts that they have, like the spiders, the hoodies. None of those were all their brand. And then, they came up with these custom shirts. We've been giving these out to the homeless. So I got a whole bunch of them. When I give out the money and stuff for the homeless on Instagram, we give out a Grindhouse shirt.
All right.
All right, Ron. Appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Going over the teams. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later. Yeah, I'm going to go over the teams right now. Okay, so real quickly, let's go back into the draft completed. Let's see here. Best ball. No, that's the quote. Let's see. Best ball puppy. And this one right here. So first team, Patrick Mahomes, Ritter, Nick Chubb, Pacheco, JJ, Mike Williams, Judy, and Njoku. Not bad. I wouldn't say it's the best team, but Herbert, Bryce Young, Sam Howell, Josh Jacobs, Swift, Rashad White, Chase Waddle, Flowers. Very good wide receiver crew. Love Josh Downs. Love Tank Dell, Kincaid, Laporta. Risky tight end, rookie crew, but definitely love Kincaid enough that I can say I like the tight end crew. If it was a different player than Jacobs, I might really, really love the team because I'm not a huge fan of Jacobs, but I like the rest of this build. It's very, very intriguing. I love the Swift with those wide receivers. It's good. Gladiator, Russell Wilson, Stafford, Stroud. Okay quarterback room. Bijan, Ramondre, Akers, McKinnon, Elliott. Decent starters for sure. Awesome starters for sure. I mean, those are two great running backs. The depth is okay. I'm not huge on Cam, but Cam's a good value. Just don't feel like the depth is extremely great, but it's, you got to sacrifice somewhere, right? Devontae Smith, Hopkins, JSN, Addison, Quentin Johnson, crafty wide receiver room. Tight end room's very nice. It's a good team. Don't know if it would be the first team that I would pick to be first place, but Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, Goff, very solid quarterback room for sure. McCaffrey, Pollard, Henry, Pierce, probably one of the better running back rooms for sure. Let's see if it came at a cost though. DJ Moore, Sutton, Michael Thomas. Yeah, definitely came at a cost, but if you believe in those wide receivers, then it doesn't matter, right? Trust your gut. Schultz and Komet's a very good tight end stable, so I'd say very good tight ends. Probably the best running backs in the entire draft. Probably still way above average and solid quarterback room. And then it's just very bland wide receiver room. So it came at a cost, but that's the nature of that. I'm going to have that feeling in a part of my team too. Joe Burrow, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. I could miss and Sam Darnold could be the starter all year, and have no quarterback. So that could be the thing that gets me. But I do think Purdy will eventually get back in there. And maybe that ends up being the best quarterback room in the draft because Trey balls out or something. But Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet, Kamara, Deuce Vaughn. I think one of the craftier running back crews, to be honest. And I think the Walker and Charbonnet combo really has me sitting pretty. You know, like that could be something that that puts me in a position to where even if I had injury strike, I could potentially have both those guys as, you know, starters. Celebrating 2 months on the YouTube membership. Judy over London. No way, Trey. No way, Trey. Does anybody think Judy's going to outscore London? Raise your hand in the chat. Type a yes or a no if you want to just type it. Let's see if anybody agrees with you on that. Brees Hall, Walker, Charbonnet. So I love that. My wide receivers they're not deep, but they're intriguing to me. And George, if you liked yours, that's what I said. All that matters is what you think. So for me, I really very much love the receivers I chose. I got timed out on Rondell Moore. I was trying to take somebody else and it got timed out. So I didn't actually pick him. But Cooper Kupp, Jahan Dotson, and Mingo to me are going to be crafty. So a lot of people don't like it. Golf says Judy outscores London. Wow. No way, no. I'm surprised Golf agrees with that. Golf, are you sure that's what you're voting yes to? Just making sure. Cooper Kupp, Jahan Dotson, Mingo, Sky Moore, Hyatt, Mims, and Rondell Moore. I like my wide receiver crew, and it came at a cost, right? Everything else came at a cost of my wide receivers, but I grabbed the guys I thought are going to way overperform. And so my tight end crew, Pitts, Jelani Woods, and Gesicki, I think is above average for sure. I think it's a really good tight end room. I think my quarterback room is very, very strong. I think I strategically took the 2 quarterbacks that will be there at the end of the day. I'll get Joe Burrow in week 1. If Joe Burrow got hurt, then my team would be done anyway. So Joe Burrow would be fine. I think Trey is either balling out or Brock Purdy's in there by the time I need him. And then I've got the backup, you know, because I don't know what Sam's going to do. I could have took Sam Darnold as well, but I didn't want to waste another spot. My running back crew, I'm excited about. So I love my quarterback room, love my running back room, love my tight end room, and I like my wide receiver room. It's good. It's good. It's solid. It's not the best. It's not top 4. Probably middle of the pack, maybe. But that's okay because there's some underperformers there. So I really like the team overall. I really think it ended up pretty well in Snipe City that we live in. Jalen Hurts, Deshaun Watson, Dalvin Cook, James Cook, the Cook brothers. So Jalen Hurts, Watson's very strong. I like 3 quarterbacks personally, but I understand. I just think it could burn you at the end of the day if one of them goes down, and then you got a bye week coming up for the other one, and you got no quarterback. Dalvin Cook, James Cook, Jamal Williams, Khalil Herbert, Tyler Algier. I don't like the running back room. I think James Cook is a very unreliable running back too. Jamal is we don't really know what to make of Jamal. Herbert is extremely talented, but is he even the guy? Algier's a backup. Raheem Mostert can't stay healthy, but that's kind of crafty for the beginning of the season. So I like Hyatt. I got Hyatt on my team. Julian, I love Hyatt. Hyatt's a great wide receiver, 4-5. Mostert and Cook are your 2 best running backs maybe to start the year, and then who knows what happens to Dalvin Cook. So love your quarterback room. Don't like the running back room at all. Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Debo, Keenan Allen. This is probably top 3 wide receiver core in the entire draft. So that's a phenomenal wide receiver room. Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Debo Samuel, Keenan Allen. That's phenomenal. Ingram and Knox is pretty solid. I think Knox is hard to trust in his new role, but I get it. So great wide receivers though. Tua and Kyler. I don't think you could have, Ryan, a more disastrous quarterback situation maybe set up for yourself. Like this would suck if your team looks really good at a glance. I haven't looked through the whole thing yet, but it would suck to see you lose when this team could win if you just grabbed another quarterback, just to secure this up, because Kyler may not play for half of a year. If he comes back too early, he gets hurt again. Tua might not be upright for more than 1 quarter. We don't really know how it's going to shake out. So, what are you going to do if Tua goes down in week 2 and Kyler doesn't come back till week 6? And then, what happens if Tua's out and Kyler has a bye and he is back? There's just a lot of disastrous situations awaiting you here. JT, Gibbs, and Javonte and Samaji's really solid. And I like what you did with the Javonte and Samaji, because you got the cuff there. that's going to be, they're both usable if something happens for 1 or 2 weeks with Gibbs and Taylor, or they both end up having the same bye week or whatever. So that's a good combination. Drake London, McLaurin, Mike Evans, Boyd. This is a very underrated wide receiver room. I like it a lot. And you've got Kelsey and May. Like, this is one of those things where you go through the team and you're like, wow, 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 wow. Kelsey's on the team. Like, just makes the team all that much better. Like, God, if you would have just secured up a quarterback, bro, this could be one of those teams that I could see being a surprise. Like, really good squad, but I'm afraid the quarterback's going to be the end of you on this team. Just almost there, bro. It was so close to perfect for me. You know, I like it a lot. It's a really, really good team. Ben, Josh Allen, Jimmy Garoppolo, J.K. Monty, Brian Robinson. Not in love with that running stable. Diggs, Ridley, Pittman, Lockett, nice wide receivers, and Andrews and Duan. It's a good team. There's some things I didn't love about it, but it's still good. It's got good character to it. Lamar Jackson, Kirk Cousins, okay. Good quarterback room. Eckler, Tank, and Spears, very awful depth. RDJ. Like, Eckler's a concern staying healthy, and then Bigsby's didn't even have a role, and Spears has one ACL, bro. Like, you should have got another RB. That's going to be the death of this team. It could have been a decent, could have been like a light running back room that, at the end of the day, something happens. Bigsby gets in there. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen. But like, you could have maybe. But I don't know how you're going to survive this. That's definitely a tough running back room. That you should have got another one. AJ Brown, Tony, Hollywood, Bateman. Like, what good's Hunter Renfrow or Nico? When you could have got another RB. That's all I'm saying. Like, I would have sacrificed one of those guys, or one of your tight ends. Go 3 tight ends. Why you got 4 tight ends and 3 running backs, and 2 of them aren't going to even play for a while, if ever. You know what I'm saying? So I would have totally ditched Dulcich and got another RB. But you got a great tight end room. You got a solid wide receiver room. You got great quarterbacks, and then you've got unexplainable running back situation. But hey, this is why we do it. It's a $5 draft, RD. We're doing it to test things out. There's no harm, no foul in a $5 puppy. You're just getting it going. Ron Navy, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, Kenny Pickett, Najee, Aaron Jones, Kendra Miller, and Jalen Warren. Garrett Wilson, St. Brown, Christian Watson, George Pickens. Love the wide receivers. Freiermuth, Everett, Musgrave. It's a good tight end room. Great wide receivers. Watson, St. Brown, Wilson, Pickens. Can't get really better than that. So I'd say that's a top 1 to 3 wide receiver core from this draft. Kind of all comes down to the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers delivering, and both running backs, Najee and Aaron Jones, delivering, and they both could. It's a really good squad. Kind of crafty. Daniel Jones, Geno, Jordan Love, solid. Barkley, Mixon, Connor, Mitchell, and Ford. I don't love Mixon or Connor, so to have both of them together as the 2 and really no backups behind that concerns me a little, but I understand if you believe in Mixon for one more year. I probably would have went Chase Brown, and then that would have really made me feel better about going Barkley and Mixon as your top 2. That would have been, I love Barkley, but Mixon and Chase Brown would have been the situation to strive for you. Devontae Adams, DK, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, Odell. I like it. Taysom Hill, Tyler Higbee, Fant. It's a good team. And the final team, DJ Speedy. Great team, and he even reached, and it still worked out great. He's got Fields, Dak, very good quarterback room. I still like 3 quarterbacks if it's up to me because of, like I said, the injury and then a bye week on top of that, you're screwed. So Fields and Dak, like it. ETN, Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison, Roshan, Foreman, Hubbard. Look, Madison could be the big difference maker here where, this team takes a whole nother step up and outscores way more than people anticipate. ETN Sanders is good. It's not a great running stable. It's a good running stable. Sanders has a lot to prove, but he could prove it, and this could be a really good, really good team that's like really sleeping on the Miles Sanders value. Lamb, Olave, Chris Godwin, Jamison Williams. Love the wide receivers. I love Jamison as the 4th wide receiver, coming in strong after 6 games. Okonkwo, Irv Smith, Ferguson. Solid tight end room. Kind of all comes down to Miles Sanders and Madison for you, in my opinion. Like, that could make this team scary. But that is it. That is the review of all the teams. Appreciate all of you coming in here. Appreciate all the super chats tonight. All that is just, advice. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is hitting all these things out of the park and drafting amazing teams every single draft. I'm not. I'm drafting bad teams. I draft a team I love one moment. I draft a team I'm like, I should have went another direction. So nobody take offense to anything I said. Just use it to try and better your next draft and take the things you like and ignore the things you don't like. If you love Mike Thomas and I don't, then, buy into him by all means. I don't care. I'm here to just support you in the best way I can and take what you want, take it in, reject what you don't want in one ear, out the other ear. Treat me like mom. Mom's got good advice and bad advice all at the same time. I'm here for you. That's what I do. Sergio, appreciate you. Garrett, thank you for all the super chats. Garrett, you're the man. Thank you, Who Dat Gator. Thank you, Garrett again. Jake, Garrett again. Sick Nasty, rock out, aloha, rock out, Matt O. And thanks especially to Aloha, Matt O, Aloha, Jake, AJ Lancaster for all dropping those $50 wads, and their name and their prediction is on the board. It's receipt season, and all $50 haulers will get their bold prediction of choice put on the board as a receipt, and we'll review them all at the end of the year. Anybody on the board with the $50 hauler prediction will choose the winner. The chat will vote who the winner is, and the winner will be able to co-host a show with me, an entire show, either by just phone or by video if you want. And you also will win a lifetime membership to The Fantasy Football Show, thefantasyfootballshow.com, and probably other things that I'll throw in, so get ready. But the board's right here. And we got a lot of nice super chats there already. Let me see if I can do this real quick. So, yeah, board's behind me. Board will be up there. It's not moving anywhere. Some of you can see your prediction right below. Like this one right here. This one right here is from Tyler G. That's the free one I threw in there. This is Aloha's down at the bottom. So Aloha's, yours is always that real long one at the bottom. And that's the one where Trey Lance is going to lead the Niners to a Super Bowl appearance, a showing, if you will. So thank you all for the super chats. Thank you, Ron Navy, for your super chat, your $20 hauler. Rock out with another one. I had mentioned all the $50 haulers. Rock out again. Rock out again. Rock out again. Rock out. You're dropping them like fire tonight. Rock out. Appreciate you. Garrett, thank you again. Jake, you guys all rock. Rock out. You especially rock. Thank you, Alex, our #1 ever YouTube exclusive member. If anybody wants to be a YouTube exclusive member for $1.99 and support the channel, let me drop that link right here. YouTube members, right here. That link is to join the YouTube exclusive membership. $1.99. You get the green name, all the cool emojis. Everybody knows you're a supporter of the channel. It's like a brotherhood, sisterhood. And then this link that's pinned in the live chat. It's also in the description of every video. The Underdog Fantasy link will be drafting tomorrow night, Friday night, and Saturday night. That link is pinned. Underdog will match up to $100 on your first deposit. And as always, I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, so I'll see you tomorrow. I'm live whenever news breaks, so I'll probably see it tomorrow before I see it tomorrow. Probably 2 live streams based on these 2 things right here. And then our mock draft and live draft marathon nights are every Thursday, Friday, Saturday now at midnight Eastern. Tuesday nights, midnight becomes Panic Chamber and daily uploads, as you know. So get out of here. Appreciate you all. And you know what? We haven't Charbonnated in a while.
Get Charbonnated. Pop open a nice bottle of Charbonnated.
He deserves it. He deserves it. Charbonnet deserves it. And I'll leave you with the Justin Fields team names if you need one.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Fields like making love.
Outstanding in his fields.
Fields so good.
Fields General.
My field's good. Uneven playing fields.
Battlefields tested.
Fields. Fields. He's for reals.
Yeah, go if you guys want to see the Alvin Kamara Mike Thomas news, the reason I did this live stream to begin with, go replay the beginning of the video. Appreciate you all. Peace out. You guys rock. I work for you. Literally. Can't thank you all enough. Without you, I wouldn't be here. So I want you all to know that. Later, peanut butter and waivers. Appreciate you. If I'm a cyborg, I'm in the right decade, because my people are taking over. The AIs. If I'm a cyborg, I'm in the right decade. That's for sure. Cyborg city. Cyborg season. Cyborg season. Thank you, Golf. Later, Space Ricky. Appreciate you, Space Ricky. Peanut butter and waivers. Max. Double A. Diddy, appreciate you. George from the Bay. Ron Navy. Jake to the moon. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate you.
Get breached.